I am on tour. Des Moines, Philly, Buffalo, Nashville, Atlanta, Phoenix. Find me on the road. Go to BertBertBert.com. Get a shirt. Today's guest, Iliza Shlesinger.
Is the Bertcast.
All right, we are officially recording.
Do we want to turn off the Food Network?
Yeah, probably. Although they are part of my sister network.
I do love the Food Network.
Obsessed.
We can talk about that all day if you want.
I swear to God, when I say, what do I do with the fucking remote?
It's right here.
Oh, here. I will match you. Like, trust me when I say I know my Food Network shit.
Yeah, let's go for it.
We
don't have to make a competition out of it. We can.
Do you like? That's the only way I can identify with talking about something is make it competitive somehow. No, we do. You know, at travel, we're related to food and cooking and
What's up with the cooking channel? So that's like the runoff for the Food Network?
No, it's genius. It's fucking genius. Food Network said, "What are we going to do if a competition comes?" And like, what are we going to do if we have competition? And they were like, "Screw it, we'll make our own competition."
It's not their own competition though. It's their own.
It's
Someone
totally.
could still come along and do it, but I guess the market would be so saturated.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh, you're going to throw a third cooking channel out there?"
Right.
I mean, I think that's the way I thought they did it. And then, but the other thing is, it's kind of like, and I say this, I think they allot money easier to make shows on cooking as they do on food. Food's got such a high profile.
Right. You have to be like a star, one of those celebrity chefs.
Exactly. I mean, Bobby Flay's been there. I had Bobby on my podcast.
Oh, cool. I love him. I ate at his restaurant in New York.
He's the best. I met him at one of our upfronts.
Yeah.
And we started talking about podcasting and all this. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm curious."
He seems
about
like
that.
a cool guy.
He's really cool and he's really down to earth. He texted me the other day and he was like, so I set him up with. Do you ever do Opening Anthony?
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
Sam Roberts, big curly hair.
Yeah.
I set him up with Sam. I set him up with Sam. I'm all over the map when it comes to talking to people. Set him up with Sam so Sam could do his podcast. So now him and Sam, and so they texted me back. He's like, "Man, I hear your name everywhere I go." And I so badly wanted to text back, "Oh, it's because I'm dropping your name everywhere."
Everywhere I go. Because I met Bobby Flay.
Okay. All right. We're going to hold off and talk about cooking. So you just brought up something that I've been dying to talk to you about because you're naturally funny.
Thanks, Bert.
But you're also really pretty. So like, at what point did you ever feel like you had to turn off the funny around not so funny dudes that you were dating and you were like, really?
You want to just talk about the dating aspect of that? No.
Like I'm talking like high school. I'm not talking like comics.
No, here's the thing, and I'm just going to say this, and this will bother ugly people, and that's fine. I'm hot to comics. Like, look at my competition, okay? If you stick me in an audition, I'm like, okay, that girl, like, you look at me like, that's a cute girl, but there's like, put me next to Natalie Portman, it's like, no, absolutely not, no go. So, grew up in Dallas, Texas. Texas has more Miss Americas than any other state. Like, it's an attractive place to grow up. And it was fine, but I was never the hot girl. that was it. I was never the hot girl. From when I was very young, I was always, I was talking about this in therapy, but I was always I always had like that ragtag group of friends. Like it was me and like an Indian girl and like the fat white kid and like one like skinny black kid. Like it was just like whoever would have me. And I got very good at making guys laugh because the pretty girls weren't funny.
Yeah.
And they probably were intimidated by the fact that I was smart and funny.
Yeah.
So I was always like friends, but I was never popular for being hot, and I never was. And I had boyfriends in high school, but I was never like one of like the hot girls. Like they would make lists of hot girls and put them in the bathroom.
Yeah,
and I was never one
Top
of those.
fives.
Sometimes I write my name in, but whatever. Never made it. And then
alternate.
Yeah, and so here I am developing a personality, like making guys laugh, being friends with guys, doing sketches and stuff like that, and improv in college. And then I get to comedy, and they're like, "You're hot, we hate you." And you're like, "Wait a minute, I don't have a lifetime of experience with that."
Yeah.
So it's not that it's unfair, but it's a real mindfuck because you're being told you're something that you never thought you were.
Yeah.
And you have to contend with that. And you get people are prejudiced against you because of it, or I've had this one booker just won't book me. And It's a girl, won't. For like, we can talk about it later, but like just stopped one day. And you're like, because like women hate women, and you're like, what did I ever do to you?
Yeah.
And it's so unfair because I can't go like get work as a model if I want. Like I'm not that pretty.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just,
No,
like,
I understand what you're saying, but it is like exactly what you said. Hot people usually do not develop good personalities.
you don't need to.
You don't need to.
You don't need, and I've actually, and even in like like when I walk into a green room and it's all like dorky comics, like I'll just be like, I'm thirsty, and someone will be like, I'll get you water, and you're like, this is amazing. Like that's why
Yeah.
hot people are so retarded, because you don't have to move. You can stay in a cocoon and
Yeah.
whatever. So, but I think the way I get guys is through my personality. They see the act, or they talk to me, or
Yeah.
whatever. It's not, I mean, you might think I'm cute. Like, you kind of have to think someone's attractive to want to be with them.
Yeah.
But I do think it's the personality. And if I've definitely had relationships get, like, small ones, not boyfriends for a long time, get rocky because they think they're okay with the competition, and then it turns out they're not.
Oh, yeah.
But that's on them.
Yeah, that's you can never, whatever makes someone else fucked up, you can't bring it back to you. That has nothing to do with you. But I always end up doing. I have a problem. A friend of mine named Andre Vincent, who's a British comic, I drove him nuts in fucking South Africa. We were doing this
Did you
thing.
do Cape Town?
Yeah, because I have a big personality that does not listen very often, and I tend to overwhelm people who just want to hang out. And I turn everything into a fucking
You're
party.
like a big happy puppy.
Right. He
Right.
goes, he told me, he wasn't talking to me. I go, what's wrong? He goes, he said it in a British accent, so it sounded better. He
Even
goes,
more condescending.
Yeah, he goes, you cast a large wake, but that's a horrible.
You what?
Cast a large wake.
Oh,
And he goes,
yeah.
I'm just staying clear out of your wake. And I was like, but that is always fucked with me. And it's like, I just had beef with some dude. I don't even know the guy's name. I never even met him, but he didn't like me. And it bothered me. And I was like, why does it fucking bother me? I don't even care.
It bothers you because you're a human being and you're sensitive under
Yeah.
it all. We all comics are. And no one wants to be not liked. It's very, I hate when people are like, yeah, I'm an asshole, I don't care. You do care.
Yeah.
And I was raised with a mother that loves me, so I have feelings, and I mean, like, obviously if you're a dick, fuck off. But like, I don't want people to not like me. I'm not a bitch. I'm like, as far as that goes, I think in comedy in particular, we have all different kinds of personalities and all different kinds of insane people. And what you said earlier about, like, don't put your crap on me, like, it takes a while to learn that. Like, what one comic's issue has nothing to do with you. Sometimes people, I don't know, like, I mean, I've actually never, like, really hung out with you, but big personalities, they tend to suck the energy out of the room. But you have two choices. You can either compete with it and exhaust yourself, or you can allow that person to just be them. I mean, I guess you have three choices, or you could leave. But you could never say to you, hey, can you tone down your personality? You'd be like, this is just me being me.
Yeah.
And that's his issue.
Yeah.
You either stay for it or you don't, or like, so.
We'd have good times when it was just me and him, or if he could isolate me. But when we were in big groups, I would drive him fucking nuts.
I would just, and I have, like, on, like, a girl note of that, like, every girl's got, like, that girlfriend that when you're around a group of guys, like, she makes it all about her.
Yeah.
And you have a choice. Once you're an adult, once you're paying taxes and you're voting, you have choices. It's like you can either accept your friend for being the man-stealing hooker that she is and have a shot, or you can just remove yourself. But you cannot fault that person for being themselves, because you're putting yourself in that realm of existence.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think anyone, like, the dudes that I know that like you, like, we were at the comedy thing, Ice House one night, Rogan and them, and you went to leave and go on stage, and automatically we all talk about you.
Yes.
That's the way that works.
Sure.
Is that the second anyone leaves, it's about them.
Oh, good. I'm so glad that it's not just me and my bitchy private school friends. I'm glad that everyone does that.
It's just like, but you're. I don't think anyone. I mean, everyone will say you're attractive, but everyone thinks normally what kind of stands out is that you also have an ability to make people laugh quickly. Like,
Thank you.
remember the time we were sitting out? This is one of my favorite stories in the world.
Really?
And I wished it was mine.
I'm one of your favorite stories?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
It was me, you. We were gonna do Red Rocks.
Red Rocks.
Red Rocks is a bar.
Oh, Red Rock on Sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were talking.
I thought you were talking about an amphitheater, and I was
we were
like,
talking about weird hookup stories or whatever. And you told
oh,
this
I know this is the one leg story. You love this story.
I love that story.
No, I don't love this story anymore.
I love that story so fucking much. That's one of my favorites.
I love that you love it.
Because I was like, I was
hot.
I was. Oh, will you tell the story for the people that don't know it?
Sure. I'm afraid I'm going to mess up the punchline now.
No, don't worry. I'll step all over you.
Your wake is quite large. There was a guy, and I was probably, I don't even know how old I was. I must have been 27, young. And he was super hot. super hot. I went to a Halloween party and I met him. He was like an astronaut and I was Lady Gaga. So of course I had on like a bathing suit. So it was easy to talk to me. And he was super hot. So we're talking. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's so good looking. And he's a lawyer and he's smart. And he went to like a great college, which is for Jews, like first and foremost.
That's right. You're Jewish.
Yes.
I fucking always forget that.
Is the podcast canceled? It's canceled, Blanche. And so we're talking and I'm like drunk and we like kissed, which is so fun, like at a party to just like kiss someone. We're talking and I was like, all right. He's like, I'd like to go out with you. I have to tell you something. I'm like, what? He's like, I have one leg. And I was like, ha ha. And he was like, no, really. And he like lifts up his pant, like, and he had one leg, one real leg. And I was like, oh fuck. And it's like one of my first mature decisions. I was like, do we throw the baby out with the one-legged bathwater, or do we go out with this person? So I was like, all right. So we went out. The truth is, like, we had nothing in common, but he was so hot. So we hung out and I do this thing where we can talk about this, where I get drunk and then I invite the guy to sleep over without having sex with him.
Yeah, I heard you talk about that.
It's my thing. No complaints. And so he comes upstairs and I was like, I'm not gonna have sex with you, but we're both drunk. You're not gonna drive home. We sleep together. So he comes upstairs and he was like, do you have any, like, we're getting ready for bed. He's like, do you have any room in your refrigerator? And I was like, oh, for what? Did you like bring some wine or something? And he was like, I need to refrigerate my leg. And I had seen the leg and it was like an expensive, not bionic, but it was, there was some electricity involved with it. You had to charge it, stuff like that. And
you shut the fuck
yeah,
up.
it's like, cause it like has like hydraulics and it responds to your body pressure and stuff like that. Like they don't do wooden legs anymore. And he was like, I have to put it in the refrigerator. It has to, like, that's where it has to be at night. And I was like, oh my God. He's like, yeah, if you could just like move over some stuff, I can put it in sideways. I was like, oh my God. He goes, I'm fucking with you. I don't have to refrigerate my leg.
That made me like the guy a lot.
Oh, so it was so good. I was dying. So that's, I love that. Like when people have something wrong with them and they have a sense of humor like that, where now you're the one with egg on your face. I think it's even better.
I was in Austin this weekend and there was a dude with one leg. I go to the gym and I do not want to go to the gym. I'm in the hotel. I go walk in and it's loud as shit. It's almost like I'm like, wow, is that how loud the treadmill sounds? I can hear it on the hallway.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh. So I go as soon as I step in the gym, this dude with one leg. He's got the spring, the bouncy one. The like, it looks like
on the bottom.
Yeah,
like for running.
Like the running one.
Yeah.
He's got that on, and he's on the treadmill. And he's fucking murdering it.
Sure.
It's on an incline, and he's like on an 8, and I'm like, oh my God, how fucking lazy I am. Mm-hmm. Like I have 2 legs, and I'm not gonna get up there. So I'm like instantly motivated.
Yeah.
I kill my coffee. I get up on the treadmill, and I fucking
shit
kill
yourself.
I'm literally like murdering it on the treadmill not to prove to him, not to beat him, but like
kind of.
But yeah. I can't be beat. I can't be beat running by a
Let's get serious.
Guy. So he gets off and then he like does like a murderous workout, like chest pull-ups, which I wasn't impressed. I was like, yeah, I could do a pull-up if I didn't have one.
Yeah, you have 2 arms, dude.
Yeah. But I watched him work out and it was kind of impressive. And then I get done. I go to the room, shower, get ready for the show, get in the elevator. There's a kids' high school party there at the thing. So when I get in the elevator, it's packed with kids. So I'm on the 4th floor, 3rd floor stops, and the dude with the one leg gets in. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and he's got this, his shirt says #RealTalk. And I said, and I'm like, it's like, how you feel really good after you work out? And you're like, I go, hey man, I got to tell you, I was watching you in the gym. And he was like, yeah, I saw you in there. And I was like, yeah, man, that's impressive. Like really, I couldn't stop looking at you. And I noticed, man, and it's really cool. He's wearing jeans. So no one knows he has one leg. He
wore jeans to work out?
He wore jeans in the elevator go out that night.
I was going to say, I hate him.
And all these kids are now think I'm just hitting on this guy.
That's what it sounds like. That's what I was wondering.
Like, hey, you want to fuck?
You want to get out of here?
I was watching you. I was watching you.
Yeah.
I was
Real talk.
I watched Liberace last night.
I saw it behind the candelabra. Loved it.
I did too. Did you end up Googling that dude?
Liberace?
No, Scott Thompson.
I was just always happy to know that he's alive and well and living in Reno.
He's in jail in Reno.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. He seemed directionless.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned the one-legged thing, and it happens to be Memorial Day. I went. This is a random story, but I was in Washington, D.C. a couple days ago I did a USO tour for the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff over Christmas. So his name is Martin Dempsey, and he's like the president's military advisor. So he had a reunion dinner for those of us who went on the USO tour over Christmas. So we all came to his house for dinner, And as part of like the 2 days you're there, we toured the Pentagon and got to go to Walter Reed to see, like, when you get blown up in Afghanistan, this is where you go to get your prosthetics.
Really?
And so you walk in this room, and it's me and two baseball players, and Kelly Pickler, who was on American Idol and just won Dancing
That
with
was
the
the
Stars.
USO tour?
That was our tour. So I was the least famous, which hurts so bad. I know it's not about me, it's about the war.
I know exactly what you're feeling.
We would we would go to like an army base, and we all had our headshots, and I was left off the program because I was added last minute, which is the story of my life. So there's all these headshots of everyone, and I have my own headshot. Like so it's not with the group. The baseball players, even if you don't know baseball, they have their uniforms on, so you can identify that they're athletes. And everyone knows Kelly Pickler because she's a singer. And then I'm like, hey, I got a pink stripe in my hair, and I'm sarcastic. And I'm sitting there, hours and hours of people just walking by you, not wanting your autograph, not wanting a picture. They think you're someone's wife, and you're just like, oh my God. And then you have to remember, this is for the war. There are people losing their hands, and I'm sitting here crying because no one wants to sign my headshots. So, cut to the USO thing. So we go to Walter Reed. And they do this thing where, because they think we're so famous, they're like, we're just going to let you loose in the room and you go talk to people. But what they don't know is, like, I'm terrified to walk up to someone and be like, Iliza Shlesinger, I host a dating show late night. And several years ago, I won a reality show called Last Comic Standing. Like, nobody cares.
Yeah. You've got to pitch yourself to these
You
people.
have to.
Yeah.
And so you walk up to them and you just say hi, and we forget that they're humans too. And that they're my age, they're not your age. They're like, no, they're not even my age. They're like 22. And
They're kids.
They just want to talk to you. They're your peers. So you go up, these guys have no legs. Some of them have no arms, no legs, and they're all there getting these like amazing prosthetics fitted. And the attitude that they have was so, and it
Real
sounds
bitchy.
so, what?
Bitchy.
A little bitchy. They complained a lot. I was like, come on. They had, they were so positive, and it sounds like so cheesy, but like, they're so tough about it, and their outlook on life is so positive. So most of them get like both legs amputated, and if you just like lose a foot, they call it a paper cut. Like, they're tough as fuck, and like they have shirts that say like "Wounded Warrior, some assembly required." Like a sense of humor about this. And one guy was like, "Yeah, I lost both my legs, but honestly, my feet stunk. I was a bad dancer. They always hurt me." Like he's like, "I'm glad I lost." And like, it's what they have to do to get through it, but. I'm sitting here upset because the Improv didn't marquee me for one night, and these guys have lost half of their body weight.
Really puts it in perspective.
Kind of. I still left upset about the Improv thing. But just like to see that they could move on with life and still be totally cool with it, it was really cool. And they have like all kinds of legs. They have running legs, sea legs, snow legs.
Sea legs?
Like for swimming. They have like little scuba legs.
Really?
All kinds of stuff.
Oh, did you get to? I would be fascinated to tour the prosthesis like room.
Yeah, I didn't.
All the prosthesis.
No, we weren't there for that long. I didn't know there was a prosthesis room. Like a factory.
The way that they can go check out which one they want for that day's activities.
No, like they just like a library.
Yeah,
just check it out.
Give me the fin and the.
I was like, do you ever combine them or? Yeah. But yeah, they have the running. What are they? Blades.
Yeah, blades. That's it.
But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I look at that. Like I remember talking to my dad. My dad accidentally ate marijuana with Joey Diaz on accident.
I thought you were saying passed away.
No.
Okay.
And he got high. He says he wasn't. He said it was an accident, but I don't know.
Or was he hanging out with Joey Diaz?
Because it was Easter.
Okay, sure. Who doesn't do that on Easter?
Exactly. So, but that night I ended up talking to him, and he talked to me about his dad going to war. I do not have that. I don't have that in my brain.
No.
Like, I couldn't. I look at those dudes that do that. My cousin just joined. He joined the army. Second 9/11 happened, my cousin was like, fuck it. Dropped out of, I think he was going to go to meds or to law school at Villanova.
I got goosebumps.
And he was like, bam, got on. And he's good looking too. Stud.
Is he single?
No, I think he just got married.
Oh, congratulations. I'm just kidding.
He like just fucking jumped, and he was like, I'm going. Mm-hmm. But that, I don't have that.
No.
I can't even get a tattoo.
No. I think for us, if it's a call to action within our means, we'll do it. Like, I'll donate some cans to your soup drive.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll do 10 minutes for a charity thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a different kind of wiring. And I also think the military is great for, obviously a lot of people go to the military because there are certain opportunities that haven't been afforded to them. Like, you cannot go to college or you can't do certain things. And the military is a great way to get a career. I mean, that just is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's a certain type of person that is good with taking direction, and they're very streamlined in their thinking, and they can focus on one task at hand, because that's the kind of person you have to be for that.
Yeah.
And I look at these guys, like my general says to me, go walk down that hallway, like a hallway or a street, and I know there's mines there. Like, you're going to get your legs blown off, and you have to go do it. Go take that hill. You have to do it.
I couldn't.
and they go into it and they don't care. The guy was like, I got blown up and I knew what had happened the second it happened. And he was like, well, get me to the hospital. No crying. They're not angry.
That's a different metal than I'm made of. I'm made of like a
soft steel.
Yeah, a very soft, malleable metal.
Yeah, like a foil.
Yeah. Made of a foil.
I'm transparent. I'm made of saran wrap and everyone can see my emotions.
More like a wax paper.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's amazing what they do. And
did you do stand up? Mm-hmm. What kind of jokes are you telling?
I just look, for the most part it's mostly men.
Yeah.
And for me, like, my comedy is just very intense and it's fast and it's somewhat aggressive. So you get up there, you don't want to be egregious in your. I don't really have a sexual act. Like, I don't get up there and talk about whores and pussies and all that stuff. But you don't want to be too egregious in it because this is still the military. So you know what?
My brain is firing really hot lately. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I think I do know we're dealing with issues with Isla, and it's bringing up the fact that I'm not wired correctly. That whatever makes me is also making a little girl have a really hard time in school. But
oh my God, that's so funny.
I had a really hard time in school too. But they just told me, "Don't worry, we'll get you a tutor." I was like, "You're not fixing the fucking problem. The problem is I'm not listening."
The problem is her DNA.
Yeah, and so but now that I'm paying attention to it, I'm like, wow. So as you said, I don't listen to people the way other people do.
You just grab onto words, don't you?
Yeah, and then
I do the same
second
thing.
You say something, I start telling a story in my head about something else. So like you go, I don't have a real sexual act. Like I don't talk about pussies and whores. And then my brain goes,
pussies and whores.
No, my brain goes, you on stage in front of like 1,000 soldiers and all the generals, and you go, I want to take a minute to talk about pussies and whores.
Just slow it down for a minute. That's why everybody has like their way that they listen. The girl thing to do, like when I talk to my girlfriends on the phone, because typically talk to your girlfriend, not saying anything important.
Yeah.
So you can do this thing where you can check in every couple words and you can just say innocuous things like, oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah. And like they'll think you're totally listening. I'll be like, you can tell by the tone if they're annoyed, and at the end just be like, that's really annoying. You need to tell her to stop. And like I have no idea what she was talking about. She's like, thank you. I'm like, oh my God, for real. Like,
That's what the whole thing of women, Venus or Mars. Women just want to be heard.
Yeah.
She
just wants to vent.
Yeah, they just want to be heard. And men, I want to fix it. So like I want to stop you and go, I got it. I got the solution.
Do you want to hear whatever we were talking about? You were talking about eating marijuana. Yeah. And I am not a pot smoker.
No, you're not at all.
But my brother grows medical marijuana.
Really?
By the acre. And he has a farm and he's a license. And like we're Jews. Like we don't have green thumbs. And he's doing it. Like up every morning at 5, farming.
That's so...
plowing, tilling the soil.
I don't think you till marijuana soil, but...
I don't know. Who knows what happens? And so he brought pot to my house and he was like, I'm going to make you pot butter. Because I have these Christmas parties, and one year he brought pot brownies, so all my friends remember that he did that. Yeah. So I was like, and I love baking, so I decided to make pot cookies to give out to people. Like I would tell them it was a pot cookie.
Yeah.
So a girlfriend of mine came over, long story short, I had a little bit of one, okay? And we went to dinner, and we're sitting at the bar. I was freaking out because I could feel myself getting higher and higher, and like I couldn't get off the ride. And as a comic, what's your first thought when you're high? I'm gonna die.
Yep.
And I kept being like, I'm gonna die. And we're sitting at like a cute restaurant, everything's fine. She's like, why would you die? And so she was stoned, but she's a stoner. So she, just in terms of wanting to be heard, I'm talking and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. I'm so, and like I'm rubbing my feet together. I can't stop. And the manager keeps coming over to like check on us, and I just like, please don't ask me any questions. Everyone's gonna fucking know I'm gonna go to jail. I was so stoned. And she goes, okay, so I see that you're freaking out. I was like, I'm freaking out, man. And she goes, I had a really stressful day, so I'm just going to talk to you about my day so I can vent, and you sit here and freak out and just pretend that you're listening, okay? I was like, deal. So she's like, so first I went and sold this one house, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my fucking God. But if you were to watch us, you would just see 2 girls nodding and talking. Yeah. But she just needed to vent, and I had no recollection of what she said. But that was like what she needed that day.
Yeah, I don't. I would not. I'm past any kind of messing around with drugs. I just kind of look at it like I'm a parent. I got my shit together. Maybe a glass of whiskey. No,
glass of whiskey. Yeah. Yes.
It's Memorial Day. We start drinking as soon as I get done this podcast. I'm going over to barbecue. I'm gonna go start drinking. My wife's really good at making friends. She's really good at losing friends too.
Like shaking them off or like
talking
doing something
shit
bad
behind their back and getting caught.
Oh yeah. Oh, she got
all
caught
the time. All the time.
That's amazing. I spread a rumor one time that one of my friends was autistic. And then she just stopped talking to me, and I don't know if she ever heard it, but I'll stand behind that if she ever challenged it. I'll be like, you act weird in public, and you don't make eye contact.
There was a girl that came up to me at the show this weekend. I was telling these stories about Isla. Isla's just killing in my act right now. And the kid's fucking, she really is.
Has she seen your act?
No.
I guess she wouldn't.
No, she knows, like, I'll tell her the stories sometimes, but, like, they've seen me do stand-up before. They came up, me and Mike Young and Brett Ernst were doing a weekend together in Irvine, and they came to the show, and they sat in the back, and they ran up on stage in the middle of my act. They were babies. That's funny. But, yeah, I forget what I was saying. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So wait, go back to your act on when you're doing the USO. What are you doing? Like,
oh yeah, so I just got up there. I mean, I have.
So wait, what do the baseball players do? Go like
they get up and they kind of like talk about teamwork. They throw baseballs into the audience. Like people just want to see athletes.
I wish they would do like a 1920s, like Babe Ruth does a tour, like crack, like like someone's got two pieces of wood and they smack them together,
like a radio, like War of the Worlds kind of thing.
All right, son. Well, keep your head up.
I think that would be a little bit. I mean, these guys were cool, but I don't think that is in their realm of possibilities. But they would. It was funny because. Like it was these guys in the military, like that's, you're talking about macho demographic. And I think some of my material, I have a lot of stuff about girls that guys like, but my aggressive stuff guys love. And a lot of times girls are like, wait, what? And so to have that concentrated dose of men in the audience to get to do that and to make them laugh. It was just like I have a bit about P90X and how it's really a prison workout and no one knows it. And what else did I do? I just had like a lot of, I can't even remember off the top of my head. A lot of aggressive.
Do you panic in a moment like that?
Panic?
Like I panic. If you
what am I going to do?
If you said, Bert, you're going to do 30 minutes in front of a military base, I'd be like, I'm fucked.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
No, I would.
You would panic, but then you'd get it together the second you walked on stage.
Yeah, I had to do a college, and it was at a Catholic college, and it needed to be clean. And I was like, oh my God, I'm fucked. And then I came up, and some guy brought a bottle of vodka, and he was like, oh, we all just want to do a shot with a machine. And I was like, done. All right.
You're always surprised every time you think. I don't know if you do this, but all comics, like we always think, like as you're walking on stage, you're like, what am I supposed to talk about? I have no idea what I'm supposed to say right now, and it never happens. You've never gone on stage and been like,
I've never once frozen.
Yeah.
But I do. If I do think, what am I going to talk about? I'm fucked.
Right, you can't put too much thought. I mean, I definitely like went through the act and I was just like, this is too girly, this is too specific, whatever. Just broad stuff. I mean, these are regular people these are the kind of people that would go to a comedy show, like in the middle of like Illinois or something
and they'd
like
laugh their dicks off.
They did, and they just want some attention. They just want a taste of home. Like these guys are in Kyrgyzstan, which is not a country you've ever heard of till just now.
Kyrgyzstan?
Yeah. 4 degrees below zero. I thought I was going to lose my legs.
Where's Kyrgyzstan?
It's right under Satan's butthole. No, it's like near Russia. It's like where the stands are, like closer to the north.
Where the stands
are? It's like
are?
Afghanistan, Turkmenistan. Like it's all up there. It's fucking freezing, and they just want something.
How do you fly there?
How did we get there? Well, we took the chairman's plane. He has his own little plane.
So is it like first class or better?
It's like a first class thing. I mean, there's like big seats and there's food. Like it's a very comfortable USO tour. It's not. Some of the comics do. Like, it was really like a special thing, and I'm sitting there like, how did I get invited on this? This must have been a paper clerical error.
Kelly Pickler, like, listen, she's like, shut up and get me a drink.
I'm just don't talk to me.
Were you hanging out with Kelly Pickler?
Well, she no, not. She brought her husband and her manager and her guitar player, so she was kind of insulated in that.
Yeah.
But I really got to be friends with.
And you brought Blanche.
I brought Bieber. I made friends with. There's 2 baseball players and a hockey player. I don't know if you are a big baseball fan.
Yeah.
Ross Detweiler and Craig Stamen from the Washington Nationals.
Oh, yeah, I know them.
And Matt Hendricks, who plays for the Capitals.
Yeah.
So we became...
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
We all really got along, and we just made fun of each other relentlessly.
Oh, I bet they fucking loved you.
We had the best time, and I just came from... I went to their game, we all went out afterward, and like they're just... Like, they're your age and they're guys and they love, fart jokes. And we just gave each other shit the whole time. So we really had a good time.
I bet they fucking loved you. And I bet they have no frame of reference for a chick like you either, because
I think they were,
They probably just date blonde bimbos that are like, hey, I love that. What do they call them? Puck fucks?
Oh, I never heard that one.
Oh, yeah, that's what the...
Well, they were... 2 of them... I mean, whatever. 2 of them were married and one...
Oh, really?
2 of them were married and one whatever. But I think in general, when you're an athlete, you're not used to... I mean, their wives, I'd met them. They were fantastic.
But
in general, athletes are, not surrounded by Mensa candidates.
Yeah, and I bet that... Because you have a locker room personality.
For sure. And that's... Okay, here's... I'll tell you the way I got to them. So it was the first day. I don't know anyone. And we're at this, like... We're in Bahrain. That was the first stop. And... So I, especially as a Jew, but also as a woman and a fucking American, like I get very angry when I see women in burqas, or like, to me that's oppression. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if that bothers anyone listening, but like, all women feel that way.
Yeah.
So we're in Bahrain, and that's their customs and it's their law, but we're in a hotel, and it's sovereign in that, like, you can do whatever you want in the hotel. Like, you can wear shorts or a tank top or something. And there's all these like sheiks there, and they're walking around with their wives, and there were some European people there. Because I knew I was safe in the hotel, I put on the shortest shorts I could find. I had my hair down. I just walked. I had to go to the gym, but I would walk like back and forth like 5 times through the lobby before I got to the gym, just to be like, this is what a girl's body looks like.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to do this.
They
looked at me like I was filth. And I was like, I don't
How
give
do
a
they
shit.
do that? Why don't they just be like, God damn?
Because they're repressed homosexuals, suppressed homosexuals. I don't know, but I was like, this is for America, and this is why they don't like us, by the way. But I'm like, no, I'm gonna wear. My butt was hanging out, and I was just like, I don't give a shit. Like in my, like that was my war on terrorism.
The 2 baseball players are like,
oh, they were nowhere to be.
Fucking awesome. Hey, let's take her to more. Let's take her to some.
Yeah, we don't mind this. So the first night,
some extremists and see what Eliza does.
Let's see what she does. Oh, she didn't come back with us. Oh no. The first night we're there, we're all sitting at dinner. And so
what do they wear under burqas? Do they wear like clothes under burqas, or are they naked?
Like stripper heels, lucite heels. No, I don't know. Probably like regular ugly clothes. So we're sitting at dinner, and we're with the chairman, who I had just met that day. Like, I don't know anyone. His whole staff is there, Secret Service, like all these people, not Secret Service, but security. So we're sitting there, and the chairman's telling a story about a 9/11 steel worker. And he's telling the story, and he tells us that he starts describing this guy. He's like an Irish kid, and he's like, and he was a big guy, and he looks at Matt Hendricks, who the hockey player, and he's like, a big guy like you, and Matt's like a big guy, and he goes, like you, and so Matt's like, okay. He's like, just like a thick guy, like you, just like a thick, big guy, and then he goes on. But he said thick enough times to Matt, like in describing this guy's body, that I think it made Matt, like, as a grown man, you're like, okay, like, it's all right, yes sir, like, you kind of you're listening to the story. So I walked up to Matt afterward, and I hadn't met him, and I just whispered, I go, how many times after the first time when he called you thick, like, how long did it take for you to get uncomfortable with a grown man calling you thick? He was like, I gotta be honest, it was getting uncomfortable there. It was making me feel weird. And so for the rest of the trip, like, that was my icebreaker with him.
Yeah.
I went every day. It was like me, and then the 2 baseball players would laugh at whatever I said to him. It was just me making fun of him. I would call him his royal thickness, Shamrock Shake, triple thick. I wrote him a bill for $66 and thick cents. Like, everything was Merry Thickmas. Like, everything was just like, I'd be like, hey, your thighs are gonna bust out of your jeans. What's the reward for returning them alive? Like, everything was just about how thick he was. And so we call him Thicky. And I, like, on Twitter, I'll be like, Matt the Thickness Hendricks, and like Hen Thicks, like whatever we could do. And I was like, I hope your wife doesn't mind me calling you thick. She was cool about it. But everything was just, so the trip was just ragging on each other.
Yeah, it's about you form a little nuclear family. Mm-hmm. It's the thing that I love about working at travel is, every season. I mean, I'll be going into my 3rd one now.
Sorry, that
like,
story was so long.
No. But the people you tour with, or the people you go out on the road with, you
have it forever.
It's the greatest.
And then eventually, your lives take you in different directions, and eventually you only have that one thing that connects you. But for what it was, when you have that little memory, and that's like a beautiful thing, and you can see each other once a year, revisit those memories, but that's about it. But
that's why I want to tour with comics. I wish, like, you do a tour, a Last Comic Standing tour after you won? Who was on it? No
one of note.
Really?
I mean, just the other comics that were on the show.
Oh.
I mean, there's no one that you're friends with. I know who you're friends with, and I know what you do.
Yeah.
It wasn't the. I can say this now because it's so many years later. It wasn't the. It wasn't the nucleic family that you'd want it to be. It wasn't. It should have been better, but it wasn't. It was one girl that had beaten out 4 guys for a lot of money.
Oh yeah, that's not
so
fun.
It was unpleasant.
Oh, and then the whole time they're like, yeah, she got it because she's a chick. It's like they, I remember a lot of people saying that Dat Fan won because he was Asian, and I was like, well, I don't know why he won, but he won.
The truth is, and I think, a lot of time it's easy to say that. It's so funny what's funny about that show, which, by the way, I never talk about, because to me, at least in 2013, to talk about a 2008 win on Last Comic Standing is the equivalent of being like 4 touchdowns in a single game, Polk High, like Al Bundy. Like, nobody cares. Like, it's a cool credit. and I stand behind it. But it was so funny afterward, and even to this day, like, oh, it was rigged. And I'm like, it was rigged, but had you won, then it wouldn't have been rigged. Like, people,
right.
And even in Hollywood and anything, you'll notice when anyone gets anything ever, he got this movie, she got this part, it's never because they're talented. There's always some other reason.
Yep.
It's never because they're good at what they do.
Exactly.
And so that's a lesson I learned. The truth, I mean, for my season, I doubt you watched it, and I doubt anyone listening watched. Oh, you did?
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Because everyone always comes up to me, they go, oh my God, I didn't see your season. But
no, I saw your season. I'm trying to remember who was on it because it all melded into one. I did season 2.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I never watched it.
I didn't get in the house, but I got to like the finals or whatever. And I talked to Heffron about this. It definitely was not rigged.
I love John Heffron.
Yeah.
It's not only is it not rigged, it's okay. It can't be legally because you're asking people to pay when they vote. You can't rig that. You'll get sued for everything. There is some casting that goes on, like obviously, at the top, but you still got to stay in the show.
Like I knew that it was up to me or John. Like there was like a spot that was going to be filled. It was going to be like me or Heffron or like Gary Goldman. Like it was going to be a dude that's white,
really regular, hot white guy.
Yeah, really hot white guy.
Yeah.
But so what were you going to say? You were saying.
I just look at the whole like you shouldn't have won, and I don't even know. I always wrestle with how much of that story I tell. I've never talked about it ever in an interview, in a podcast, because it was such a horrific, I'll just fucking say it. It was such a horrific experience touring with them afterward, like mentally damaging, that for years after, I could not be around other comics because I thought they hated me. It was the worst. And a lot of people to this day will be like, they're intimidated by me, or they'll be like, yeah, she doesn't really hang around, or I hate to use the word bitchy, or they'll think I'm cold, having never met me, but you'll see I just come in, I do my set, and I leave. Because when you go through such a horrible process after what should have been like one of the best moments of your life, it really just kind of messes with everything. Having to be around men that act like teenage girls in their jealousy. And even in high school, I wasn't around girls like that. So it was like meeting aliens. Like it was like I didn't know how to deal with them, and it was so horrible that's why I never talk about it, because A, I don't want to give them the satisfaction. Yeah. And B, it was just so unpleasant. It should have been so great.
It should have been the best fucking. It should have been the celebratory tour.
I would like, yeah, it should have been, and it should have been you with your friends going to all these cities. But instead, it was me sitting by myself eating with no one talking to me. Like it was the worst. And I never talk about it because I always try to save face and let them, like it's over, it's done, be a man, move on. Yeah. And that's why I'm not saying the names, and people can look it up if they want, whatever, and you can draw your conclusions. And it was just, it was really psychologically detrimental. And but it should have been fun. And to your point, it is fun when you get to bring your feature, which you do way more than I do, as you should. When you get to bring someone on the road, it's so much more fun. Or even when you go into a town and they give you a feature who's super cool, then you have that moment and you're friends forever. Yeah.
You have your friends forever until the next time you run in and you're drunk and you don't remember his name.
And you can't book them because you already have your own feature. Yeah. But I love that. And I'm just now getting to like where I'll hang out with the feature and the opening act. And by the way, if you're a feature or an opening act listening to this, it behooves you to make, you don't have to kiss their asses, but make friends with your headliner. Because if you're a feature from me and I like you, I will do anything for you. I will try to get you a gig. I'll do whatever I can. I've definitely walked into green rooms where someone's got something to prove, and they bring in their girlfriend into my green room. Don't say anything to me. Yeah. Don't say hi. Don't say good set. And it's like, all right, buddy, we can have a pissing contest. I'm going to win. Yeah. But like, what are you going to gain by not being nice to me when all I have is something? All I can do is give to you.
It's ego. You get it more than I do. I don't get it. I won't get it much. I used to get it from older black comics. Like,
oh, sure.
When I had an older black comic feature for me, that was the only time I got it. I never got it from white comics because white comics feel like, hey, man, if you can help me, you can help me. But older black comics used to despise me. I mean, I had 3 back to back to back, and I literally by the last one,
this is when you're the headliner.
The headliner. I was 30. I was Georgia. I had just been born. I was 34, maybe 34. 34, 35 maybe. And and 34. And I was headlining nationally. I was doing all the clubs. And they would always get black features.
It's like a fun juxtaposition.
There's one. I'm saying one name just so that he knows he was not that guy. But there was a guy named Tim Northern who I loved working with.
Okay.
Because he was older than me, but he was cool as fuck.
Sure.
And we got down every single night and we drank and we talked comedy. And he was like just had a passion for it. But there were a bunch that were not cool.
Sure.
And they know who they were. But
because they feel that they're owed something.
They're like, why you? I've been doing it longer. I'm funnier. I can raise the roof. I gotta. And you're like, I'll tell you why it's not. And then, by the way, now I'm thinking another name who's really cool. Like Bam Bam, cool. I loved you too. Like
if they were cool, they know they're cool.
Yeah.
No
you knew you were cool. You knew you're cool.
You're not like a backstabber.
The three cunts know who they are.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
So and I got to a point where I was like, I had to call and say, listen, I happened in Baltimore. I was going into Baltimore and I go, who's the? They're like 2-person show, and I went.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, listen, I'm in Baltimore, and I go
Comedy Factory.
Yeah, is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I go, it's not a black dude with one name, is it? And they're like. They go, yeah, it is. It's Alabama. And I go, yeah. And I go, I can't work with him. And they're like, listen, he's not like. I go, listen, I can't.
Alabama's the best.
But he is. I didn't know that, but I had set up a stereotype.
I love that we both got the same feature.
I built up a stereotype to like what will happen when this happens. I'm gonna have a one named black feature who's going to be pissed off that it's not him headlining. I've never seen Travel Channel. I don't know who the fuck you are.
Sure.
I don't care. Yeah, the reason I didn't get Last Comic Standing is I'm not with Barry Katz. And so all these little issues and that I was going to deal with. And what's his name was like, listen, that is not Alabama. I promise. I was like, do me a favor. Bring in another dude. I don't care what color he is, but bring in another guy just so we can split it up. And Alabama was fucking awesome.
So funny.
I fucking loved him. And I felt like a real jerk because I had set that up. And he had great shows and he was cool as fuck. And we talked comedy in the green room every night. And I fucking dug him and he hung out with me after the shows.
Did he do his blindside bit?
I don't No, yeah. I'm just looking for a white family.
So funny.
He's great, but I had set up a stereotype, and you probably get it more, but that was where I got it, and so I just was like, I can't. Here, let me. I'm going to build on what you just said.
Yeah.
If you're a feature and you're listening to this, and you're like, I'm a fucking, or you're hosting, when you get to the feature point, David Tell gave me the best advice in the world. Do not attempt to blow your headliner off stage and make a long weekend for that person. You will never leapfrog into headliner. You're never going to go.
No one's going to be like, you know what? You go up there instead. Bert, go home.
Do you realize how many phone calls they have to make? They've got to call my agent. They've got to call they've got to call Aaron at the Improv. They've got to call my manager who owns the fucking Improv. It's never going to happen.
Right.
And they've got to justify a guy who's been doing it 14 years and there's a new kid that just blew him off stage. It's not going to happen. Not only that, I've followed every fucking guy there is to follow in my life.
It's not going to happen.
It's not. No one's blowing me off stage. I can fucking promise you that. So this is the other way to do it. Okay, you go into a club and you see Iliza or myself, and you just fucking hang out and write and say, "Listen, I'm writing a bunch. I would love if you could, take a look. Not at the. You don't have to watch my whole set.
I'm not going to watch it.
I like the last 5 minutes before I go on. I'm going to do a lot of new stuff and." First of all, we're like, fuck, yeah, I would love to see someone write.
I'd love to see you bomb.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But like David Tell told me, he goes, I did like 4 shows. I've told this a million times. I did like 4 shows, and I tried to kill so that he would just come up and be like, you're fucking amazing. That's never going to happen. David Tell's never going to think I'm amazing.
He's never going to not go on stage. He's never going to like you better. Yeah.
So he came up to me, and he goes, we get it. This is like Friday night, second show. He goes, we get it. You're funny. Now how about writing a new joke? And I was like, and then he pulled me aside that night, and we talked all night about comedy, and he goes, you're at a place in your career where you get to write. No one gives a fuck if you bomb. No, you're not getting fired.
Right.
I'll stand up for you. I'll back you up. But you should be writing all the time.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'll agree with you on that. There's so many different kinds of, I'm just thinking about this, so many different kinds of, you have nothing, in general, in show business, you have nothing to lose by just being nice.
Yeah.
And just this pissing, I mean, I don't get it a lot anymore, I think, but it's weird to me when features like say, like I'll do a weekend and the host will be super nice, the feature will say, not even being a dick, maybe he's just in his own world, but have some better business sense about yourself. Like, don't ignore me the whole weekend. I don't think you're busier than me.
Yeah.
All right, we're in Atlanta. Like, I don't think you're busier than me. But yeah, there's something to be gained by that. And this business is mostly about who you know.
Yeah.
Most people don't get on these shows because they auditioned and they were good. It's because their friend was the writer and now you're on a show.
I'm going to tell you right now that I'll say Tommy Jonigan's name. Tommy Jonigan was a dude that I had worked with and a number of people had worked with, and he was just cool to hang out with. And now, and I'm not saying that we're the reason that he's now doing Letterman all the time, but I'll tell you one thing: the road was more fun for him because he knew a bunch of people.
Sure.
And when he came in, and people were like, "Oh, you're going to love Tommy," and then all of a sudden he's making more friends, and Tommy's just a nice guy. So
and especially like if you're the feature feature, like, you can be, we don't talk about being the feature, but, like, I've never been the feature. And I know that's, like,
Chris
a horrible
Rock had never
thing.
been the feature either.
Well, hopefully my career turns out like his. Because of Last Comic Standing, and this is a big thing for me, I skipped what should have been college. Like, I'd been doing comedy 3 years.
You Kobe Bryant.
I did.
Yeah.
And I won Last Comic Standing, and I became a headliner. And it's not that I wasn't prepared for it. Like, I was definitely ready to be. I mean, I can't tell you it was the strongest 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, when I started, but I definitely wasn't going to walk away from it. But you miss those formative years, where you're on the road with your friends and you're in it. Like, I'll talk to my friends like, yeah, we're all Chicago comics, we're all New York comics, we're all San Francisco. I didn't have that. So I've got friends who are like, all my friends are like 40 because I met them at an open mic and they've been loyal to me or something like that, you know? And so I miss that. I don't have a group of comic friends. I mean, I have like the Comedy Store and stuff like that, but I'm not going to go hang out with like a bunch of dudes and watch a boxing match. I'm not Morgan Murphy. I'm not that cool. And so it's like this weird thing. So I miss like a lot of like, it's just like a weird Arrested Development kind of career. But if you're the feature, think of yourself as an ambassador for that city. I was recently in Portland and we had a feature named, was he the feature or the host? He was the host. His name was Todd Armstrong. He was very funny and he was so nice to me. And his wife came and anywhere we wanted to go, he's like, I know the restaurant. Or like if somebody needed something, he's like, I know where to get that. I know where to get that. And they just made it fun. And now, when you go back in, you can request that person and you have someone to hang out with.
I had a dude named Anton in Austin this week, and he's not even from Austin, but he knew some people from Austin, and he went out with me every single night, and so did my host, John Mendoza. It's an unfortunate name considering there's a much more successful comedian named John Mendoza. Really? But yeah, he's older. You'd have to be old to know. I think he's probably not touring much. But John Mendoza stayed with us every night and made sure I got home. I was like, I'll remember that shit.
Sure.
And then the other thing I did is I walked in and I was like, guess that's for fucking everybody. I was like, Austin's got this great comedy scene. I want to see it.
Cap City?
I was like, everyone want to do a guest set? Run into me in a bar? Done. Mikey Swenson.
Give you 5. You know what? And I said something. They were like, oh my God. I give somebody 5 minutes. And they were like, oh my God, that's so nice of you. I'm like, it's your problem if you bomb, not mine.
I'm taking it out of the features.
I'm still doing my set, yeah. Oh yeah, it's not out of my time.
Yeah, I'm not losing any money on this. I get
paid the same either way, actually. So enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I don't know. It just takes so little to be nice, and it means you never know how much it's going to mean to someone. Like, oh, that guest set you gave me was the set that helped me get my late night set. Like, you just takes nothing to be nice to people.
You never know, like the little things, like. What's in her eye? By the way, I was thinking of this the other day, because you fly with your dog. I was on a plane the other day, and there was a German Shepherd service dog who took a shit in first class.
Oh my God.
Yep. Just
Germans.
Took it.
This is what we think of your establishment. No, you saw she was just lying here. That's how she is. 5-hour flights, 6-hour flights. She just lays there. Sometimes when you have like a roadie yourself. So this one time I was laying down. I was so tired coming back from like somewhere on the East.
For those of you that don't know, Blanche is Eliza's literally best friend. Oh, look at this. Oh, I just found a dog bed.
She'll claim that. So she's like a half. She's gorgeous. You can go on any social media thing of mine and you'll see pictures of her. So I can put her in a seat by herself and she won't get up. Actually, I'll show you a picture. No one's going to see this. But anyways, so I laid down across 2 seats, like in a ball, and I put her on the 3rd seat by the aisle. And I woke up and there was like a flock of flight attendants just petting her. Like, and it's just weird to wake up and like someone super close to your body.
Yeah.
But she's just I'll show you this picture. She's super well behaved and
she's a great dog.
She's really.
Priscilla wanted to play with her.
Like Blanche was having none of that.
Yeah, Priscilla came over. Bill Burr came over the other day, and Priscilla fucking fell in love with him.
Because she's a girl. I think girl dogs like male energy.
Yeah, she got real cunty with Duncan.
Duncan Trussell?
Yeah, she was like...
He got a weird energy.
He came in, I think he had eaten an edible, and she was like,
God,
this guy, I got girls in this house, man.
She knew it. What I'll do is, after our military personnel board the plane, I then go up to the gate agent and I say, listen, you Nazi whore, I need to get on this flight early because I have a service dog and I have the paperwork and everything. And I say that it's so my dog can get settled, but truly it's just because I want to stow my bag and pee before everyone gets on the plane.
Yeah.
And so I always do that, and I set her down in the seat and I go pee, and I of course can't find this picture.
Buy her a seat?
No, because no, she fits where my feet are.
Yeah.
This is really hard for me, like trying to like feign a story while I look for this picture. And I just sit her down. She doesn't do anything. And then sometimes the flight attendants love her and they bring her all kinds of snacks that her mom eats. And I pretend that I'm giving her the dog. Here you go. So I set her down in the chair. I went to go pee. And when I came back, this is what she was doing. like looking to see if I was coming back.
Oh, are you fucking kidding me? That's a great dog.
She's the most amazing woman I've ever met.
That is fucking awesome. That's Mona. Mona's our little one that you met. Mona's a really great dog. She is the alarm. Priscilla's the guard. So like Mona will be like any noise, Mona just goes after it, and then Priscilla's like, I'm up, I'm at it too.
It's actually a blessing to have dogs obviously have amazing hearing, but like my maid comes every Monday morning, and I have an alarm, but I can't. And I have like a lock on the door. I have all kinds of locks. I have like the little chain thing, but you can't leave the chain lock on because your maid's coming because they can't get in.
Yeah.
So I can leave this is a weird story, but I can leave the chain off and I can set my alarm because between opening the door and the alarm going off, you have a couple seconds. Like anyways, Blanche will always hear her key rattling all the way from downstairs. She'll hear the key rattling. So Blanche barks and I know to wake up, turn off the alarm so the maid can come in. It's like our own little alarm.
This morning, Georgia and Isla are in bed with us. We're all in bed. This is my first day home. I got in yesterday. So it's like, first day home, all the kids in bed.
Oh, sure.
And Priscilla's not in bed. She usually sleeps in bed with us. I slept on the couch last night because I was sweating because Leanne likes the room hot and I like it cold and I like to have a blanket on me and I'm fucking neurotic.
You're a guy. No, guys like because you're a warm-blooded mammal. Yeah. Women are cold.
So Georgia goes, where's Priscilla? All of a sudden we hear shing shing, like her noise of her collar. She's like, someone said my name. And then you have a 130-pound dog sprinting into the bedroom.
I love you guys too.
And just jumps up and literally she thinks she's a lap dog. I love animals. I don't understand people who don't love animals.
They're weird serial killers.
Yeah.
It's weird, especially when people like it's actually kind of funny because Black people don't like dogs. No. This is like a racist thing to say, but in general, not in general, but like if you take 10 white people, 10 black people, you tend to get more black people that don't like dogs.
Really?
Yeah. It's like a minority thing. The way you
now I'm going to get obsessed with that.
Think about this, okay? So let's say, and people are going to give me shit, but just think about this. Or like a lot of times I'll have like Latino people in my neighborhood.
I was about to go, well, Michael Vick, but then
no,
I was like,
I don't even know why I brought this up. Because now I have to substantiate it with evidence, and here it is. Or like Latino people in my neighborhood get very skittish. It's a long-haired dachshund; she's not going to bite you. Yeah. But if you grow up in an area where people don't tend to keep pets for pleasure versus protection, or they're just like roaming your neighborhood, those dogs tend to be more aggressive. So what you grow up with is what you know.
It makes sense. Because
I'm not saying all black people grow up poor or whatever. I'm just saying like these are.
I know what you're saying, and what you're saying is like definitely every time I ever had a dog, it was a house dog that someone purchased.
Right.
And
it wasn't a stray
breed.
dog. It wasn't. Yeah.
It wasn't, and it definitely lived in the house. It shit in the house. That's the way white people are. It's like the dog becomes a family member.
Right. Black people. I'm sure there's a comic out there that has a bit about it. Like we treat them like people, and it's so funny because I'll bring her to the airport, and to me, like this is my dog who is basically a throw pillow with eyes. Yeah. And I'll leave her, like, I'll be in the bathroom at an airport, and I'll let her just walk around the bathroom. She's not going to pee, but I have to pee.
Yeah.
So I just let her, and she'll, like, sneak under the stall. And I don't realize, like, for other people, that's jarring to see a large, like, what could be a rat, like, come out. And I heard this black one time, she's like, oh, shit, is that a rat? And I was like, in my head, I'm like, why a rat? Like, why would it be a large rat versus any other type of animal in an airport?
Just a dog.
Yeah, or like, oh, is that a fox? I'm like,
is that a fox? I was obsessed with this morning with the fact that I can't get my dog to laugh. Like, animals don't laugh.
Oh, they don't laugh.
That's so fucked up.
But they can show you that they're happy.
Yeah, by wagging their tail, but I want them to laugh.
That's never going
to if I could do that, do you know how great that viral video would be? If I could just get my dog to laugh.
I bet there's one of like a dog going like, like just like it's creepy.
Just like,
it's creepy. What like there's videos of like there's one of a dog saying I love you, but it's not heartwarming. It's like you're just like, oh god.
Do you think no animal has a sense of humor?
Maybe a sense of irony. Blanche understands irony.
I need more out of my cat. Our cat is an asshole.
Cats are assholes, but I will say that. Okay, I'll say this in terms of sense of humor. I think she knows when I'm kidding, and here's why. And this is going to be a weird story, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Okay, when I'm leaving, okay, I have this whole thing where, because Blanche is the sweetest dog ever, in my mind, I have to remind her to have mercy on other people. The idea being like, if she were to get angry, she would become 50 feet tall and start biting people and blowing fire like a Godzilla. So I have to always remind her, remain merciful and have mercy on others to like keep her at bay. Like this is the story in my head. So when I always tell her, I will say like, remain merciful. And then she lies there and she doesn't kill anyone. Yeah. In my head, I think she could kill people. So when I'm leaving the house, I'll tell her remain. Like that's the word. But when she hears remain, she knows that I'm about to leave. And then Remain became Remain in Spain, and now I have a sign on my door that says Enjoy Spain, and there's a Spanish flag. And so the idea is that, like, when I'm leaving, I'll be like, I heard Spain is beautiful this time of year. I think you'll be spending some time in Spain. And that means I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But she starts to bark because she knows that I'm fucking with her because I'm going to take her anyway.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, Remain in Spain, and she'll bark, and I'll be like, Spain, and she'll growl. Like, it's almost like she knows the angrier she gets, the more likely it is that I'm going to take her with me.
Yeah, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
That was a really weird story.
No. So she can sense
that
your...
I'm building something. I'll be like, Spain, Remain, and then she's like, "Rrr," and I'm like, in Spain, and she's like, ah, and she freaks out.
Is that your dog voice?
That's my dog voice. I talk in this voice 90% of the day. I'm single. It's okay, Spain. She just tolerates it because she knows I feed her.
My daughter has adopted my wife's animal voice.
What is it? I want to hear yours too.
I don't have one.
Really?
I don't do it. I go press. I'll just lower it. Like, hold on. Let's see if I can get Georgia in here to do her animal voice. Let's see. 1, 2, 1, 3, 9.
You think we're leaving? We're not leaving. Just relax. Relax your body.
Georgia will come in and Georgia will meet her and Georgia will do her animal voice. Isla's animal voice sounds like her regular voice because she sounds weird when she talks.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. I love hearing people's animal voices.
Mine's like, I'll go, Priscilla, what are you doing? And then I always go,
That's a standard.
Hey, will you send George to the man cave? All right, thanks.
What I think is funny, because to me, just like on a stand-up comedy note, when someone does their animal voice, you're getting a brief foray, or I guess a glimpse into not their psyche, but like their home life. Like that's being very vulnerable doing your animal voice.
Oh shit.
And most people don't, because that's something you do when you're comfortable. Like if I just met you for the first time, I wouldn't be like, "Hello, Bert." Like that would be weird. You think I was like a kindergarten teacher. And so when people do that, you're getting to see a glimpse of who they are when they're comfortable and when they're alone. And what's funny is, like, I think my dog voice is the best ever. And then they do theirs, and I'm like, yours sounds stupid, but mine sounds good.
Oh, no. Here. Come on in. Come here. All right. This is Georgia. Georgia, this is Blanche.
Thank you.
Here, shut that door. Shut that door. Shut that door. I don't know. She's not here. Hey, can you come here. Come here. Over here to the mic. Can you play with Blanche, but do your dog voice that you use to do, like, to Mona? Like, just, like, anything. Like, how do you talk to our dogs?
What do I say?
Like, just say, like, what do you say, like, to Mona? I got 99 problems, but, itch ain't one. Like, do your animal voice when you talk to animals.
Okay. I got 99 problems and an itchy one.
Uh-oh.
All right. Okay, that's good, George. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, No. This is not turning into the kid. Do you guys want to ask Iliza any questions about stand-up comedy?
First, the USO doesn't want my signature. Now your kids don't want to ask me any questions.
All right. We're going to wrap up, and then we're going over to Tom and Sandy's, okay?
Thank you.
Do you hear that? You're so cute.
So cute. You have to, grown men, I'll be sitting in the airport, grown men will come over and be like, "Who's a pretty princess?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's what you sound like when you're home. Like when you're at home in your underwear."
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. It's so funny. My wife is around animals so much that sometimes she'll talk to me like during sex in an animal voice.
No.
I swear to God. Like at the beginning, not during it, but at the beginning, like the foreplay. Like
to get you hard, that's how she talks.
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? She's like, oh, yes, it is. Like, whatever. I can't do her voice.
Do you like it, though?
No, I fucking hate it.
Men don't like that. Men don't like it when you like they want to be like their own entity. We don't like no baby talk, none of this. I've been accused, like I've definitely had boyfriends where I'll be like I tend to treat all men like they're adorable because I do think men are adorable. Even the toughest guy. Like I find male traits to be endearing and cute because I'm a fan of men. But I'll be like touching him. I'll be like, oh my, like I'll be talking. He'll be like, I'm not Blanche. Or I'll like squeeze the cheek. I'm like, cheek. He's like, stop it, I'm not Blanche.
Leanne does that. She'll grab my ear and pinch my earlobe.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Or jiggle his like belly. Or then I'll spend too much time with Blanche. They'll be like, you love her more. I'm like, she needs me to survive. You're just an asshole. You can get your own water.
I get like, I can get, because Priscilla's so big, it's almost like fucking playing with a human. Because she gets in bed with
giant dog.
She's the size of Leanne. She's
Yeah.
bigger than Leanne. So, like, I will get in bed, and she will lay on top of me, and she will roll until she wants to be inside you, and she's like, oh, and then all of a sudden you're both hugging each other, rubbing her belly, and she's like, and I'm like, this is really close to like molestation.
It's so close. Wrong species.
Yeah.
It's like the fat girl you slept with in college that like didn't want to get out of your bed. She's like, when are we going to brunch? You're like, get off of me. Oh, I'm still in you.
The fat girl?
The fat girl. My mistake. Your harem of fat girls.
That was a fucking sport for a while.
Oh my gosh. Did you do that like as a joke or like?
No, it was easy. It was like practice.
Oy.
And then they lose weight, and you're like, oh shit.
Not about fat girls, but I will say this. Now that I'm 30.
Oh, you just turned 30? That's it?
And I hurt my back the next day. And like I've been saying that on stage, but it is true, and it was horrific. And I was like, oh, it's not down here.
I turned 30, and that day I was on the road, and I went to take a shit, and my balls went in the water, and I was like, this is the greatest fucking joke ever. And then
it was just high tide in that bowl. Maybe the water shouldn't be that high.
I was like fucking murdering. This is going to be, I did it for like a month, and it was like, I forget because I had to lose it, because the next day I saw like next month I saw that Geraldo had the exact same bit.
Oh, really?
And he had been doing it for like 5 years.
Everybody has that bit when they turn 30.
Everyone's balls go in the water. There's like Canada's water rises high too. Mine definitely go in the water.
I was gonna say, I think, yeah, for sure. But I've noticed, like, cause anytime we do a podcast, because people always talk about dating with me or whatever, like, who are you into? And Joe Rogan's made fun of me for it, but I really like manly guys, like the bigger the better. Not that I've dated a ton, but I like alpha athletic guys, whatever. Yeah. And I recently went out with a guy who is like a manly guy, but he's a little bit more reserved. He's not super macho, like more preppy, whatever.
Not a comic.
No, not a comic.
Are you done dating comics?
I think I've dated one or two, so it's not like a thing. I think that's like it's a great way to end up hating each other, except for Brett Ernst. We dated and we remain friends. We don't like hang out, but I have nothing but the utmost love and respect for him.
I love him. He's the sweetest guy. He's going to come on and do the podcast soon.
Oh yeah, he's great. He's great. And that takes a special relationship. I'm not saying our relationship now is special, but it's rare that you don't have competition with one another. And I've definitely like gone on a date or two with like one comic, and they made it weird. And you're like, okay, I didn't want to compete with you, but whatever. But there's something to be said for like nerdier guys. While not as hot, and I'm not talking about the guy I dated recently, but just in general, like I've started to get like the thing where like I was like, I could have all the nerds I want.
Yeah,
I could have a whole bobsled team, or not bobsled. What the dogs do to bobsled dogs? Like you have like a bunch of them. Bobsled.
Like, it's not
nope,
bobsled.
not bobsled. Husky team, Husky pack. Yeah. Whatever. I could have.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But I could have like, and I've like.
You could have a comic book store.
Put that vibe out there. Like I've got like a couple guys with the dark rim glasses or whatever, and they ask you out, and you're like, I could go out and be like super hot and date these nerds who are smarter than me, which is great,
and super sensitive.
Or I could keep dating meatheads and keep banging my head against a wall, and not like in a good way. So I don't know. It's interesting as you get older, like how your taste changed.
Oh well, I was into. We were talking about this last night. I was into blonde-haired bimbos. That was my thing in college.
Isn't?
Yeah, it was my sweet spot. And then I met Leanne. Leanne is clearly not that. She is brunette, freckles from the South. And
right.
It's like, and it's not. She is not a bimbo. She doesn't wear bimbo clothes. Like she dresses like pretty, like she shops at Target because she's a mom.
Right.
But she shopped at Target when I met her. Like that's the kind of
great.
Yeah, I would never buy anything from fucking Target. I'm a label whore.
No way.
Oh, big time. I'm a big time label whore.
Look at what you're wearing now. What are you in, like swim trunks?
Yeah, but this shirt I got. This is a cool shirt, and
I'm not a label whore, but I'm very.
I mean, really, are we gonna ignore that?
It's a very nice. How many quarters did it take to get this out of the machine? No.
Yeah.
So look,
here,
is it a Rolex?
It looks better on women.
Okay. I will say this, and this is it's from living in LA. Like in LA, everyone looks sloppy. Like that's the look.
Yeah.
So my mom will come visit. She'll be like, "You look so sloppy. You look homeless." And I'm like, "My outfit was $1,000.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to look sloppy."
That's the way I always.
This looks great. It's a lovely watch. I don't know where to go with this. This is a beautiful watch. Clearly not from Target. I don't want to break it.
You can. It's yeah, but that's always been my thing. Is like I'll dress in like jeans, a t-shirt, and boots. But like, this sounds really horrible because my theory was I don't buy suits, but I'll buy nice jeans.
Yeah.
My shirt will be a nice shirt. Like it'll be something that's a cool T-shirt. And then I always figure like my boots I've had the same boots since I was 30. I've had them for 10 years.
Cowboy boots?
They're Fry.
Indestructible.
Yeah, indestructible. I've had these for 10 years. They're the best. They fit my foot perfectly.
You'll never find another pair like that.
Yeah. And so, but I always figure, like my clothes will be nice. I just look sloppy.
And it's okay. Like I think if you can warrant it by being like, I spent a lot of money on it. It's supposed to look this way.
Yeah.
Then it's okay versus like, this looks shitty. I mean, that's the difference between poor people and rich people. Rich people want to look poor. Poor people want to look rich.
Yeah, that is interesting.
If you look at like rappers versus like alty people, like rappers want to do, like Rolex or like Louis this, Gucci this. Rich kids want to wear vintage clothes, ripped clothes. They want to look sloppy. Like everyone wants to look like they're from the other side of the tracks.
Yeah. That's interesting. I never wanted to look like, I don't want to look preppy, but that's where my people come from.
No, but your boots are like really worn in.
Yeah.
Those aren't like, they're not shiny. You're not keeping them clean. Like they're not sneakers that you're going to keep clean. You want them to be dirty. I went sneaker shopping the other day. Someone was like, yeah, buy those, keep them clean. I was like, I'm going to go walk right in a puddle. Like I don't want people to think I have brand new sneakers.
I don't want to look like I have new clothes.
Yeah. Then you look like an asshole.
Like Damon Dash was like, everything I wear is new. If I wear it once, I throw it away. I'm like, that's so wasteful.
Waste of resources, big time.
Yeah, I would love to be his personal assistant.
Yeah.
How much money do you think you need to have a personal assistant?
Not that much. You probably pay a personal assistant. Like there's like celebrity ones and then there's like regular ones. I would give them like $30,000 a year if you're right out of college. Jesus. Is that not enough?
No, that's a lot.
Is that?
That's a lot. It's like all I can think is I got to earn an extra $60,000 to pay someone
to pay
$30,000.
That maybe $20,000. Maybe it's part time. I mean, it depends on what you need it for. But on the clothing thing, I will say this, and this is my issue. I'm a very big T-shirt. Like I own every T-shirt ever. I love T-shirts.
I'm a big T-shirt dude.
Yeah, I love dressing in T-shirts.
I like that T-shirt. I had a John Varvatos T-shirt like that.
Like this one?
Yeah, like that one, real thin.
This is James Purse.
God, I sound like a queen right now.
No, you don't. John Varvatos is the exception. But I love I love vintage T-shirts, and I like dressing kind of sloppy, and I dress that way on stage, and it's just the way I dress because I think you should look on stage how you do in real life.
Exactly.
But on the other hand, like if I'm going to go out, no one loves a cheap mini skirt and a pair of high heels and a tank top more than yours truly.
Yeah.
However, there is no middle ground with me. Like if you say we have like a business casual dinner, I am fucked. Like it's either I look like an absolute like 21-year-old streetwalker or a really sloppy lesbian. I have no gray. It's very difficult. I don't want to wear what like girls wear to meetings. It's just,
I want to be able to be like I'm still in the part of my life where if I do some business thing, I wear a collared shirt. Like when I go to a meeting, I always wear a collared shirt.
Right.
But I'm not a collared shirt guy. I don't like collared shirts, and I'm in a weird body phase part where I don't fit in collared shirts. Like I look weird in them.
you have a big neck.
Nope.
Oh.
XL looks like pajamas, and a large looks like
You have to
Tommy
get them
Boy.
tailor made then, or fitted. You have to take them to the tailor. That's
Really?
the secret. That's what people say. Like people who know about fashion, you can buy anything off the rack, take it to the tailor.
That's what I'm gonna fucking do.
$12, they'll tailor. They'll do it so that everything fits the way it should.
I look at myself on TV and I go, I look like a fucking fool.
I can't.
It's hard.
It's hard. I did a John. Oh my god, I'm blanking now.
By the
John
way,
Oliver. Oh,
wait, no, say it.
I did a John Oliver set and I wore a James Purse baggy shirt because you don't want to show off everything. You don't like I have a good body. I work out, and if you have everything that's super tight, people aren't going to pay attention. Like they're going to be staring at your tits and like
Someone
wondering
please
stuff.
grab that soundbite and make it a ringtone. I have a good body. I work out.
Oh my god! But I mean, women are like taught that we can't be like proud of our bodies. But if you wear that on stage, it's inviting too much. I just want you to hear my awesome joke about texting. So prophetic. And so, but I put on this shirt that was baggy, and I look pregnant. And I have this clip is now online. I'm wearing a red shirt, and it just looks awful. And it's like, where is the middle ground between not looking pregnant but also looking like having your clothes baggy enough that no one can see your body? Like, what do you do?
I didn't listen to any of that because all I'm thinking is, can someone please make ringtones for each of my episodes? Just the person's name and the things they don't want said for the ringtone. Iliza Shlesinger.
I have a good body.
I work out.
I'm sorry, I have a good body. I work out.
He had one leg. I hated those comics.
Oh my god, so funny.
Feature acts. And then that's the ringtone, the Iliza
That
Shlesinger.
wraps up the show. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Ringtone.
I'll take it. That sounds like me.
That's I can't. I don't know what to do. Like I'm just preparing for a new hour, and I'm less concerned about the material and more concerned about what
How
I'm
you're
gonna
gonna
wear.
look.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Anything for TV or anything. And for comics, like dressing isn't our strong suit. And you want people to focus on you, not the outfit. This isn't Delirious. We can't wear weird outfits anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's the one who wore the red leather, right?
Yeah. Oh, why not? That's what I was thinking.
Why not?
You know what I've been doing lately? I've been doing the show with my shirt off. Like on a lot of shows, I get up, I rip my shirt off first five seconds on the thing.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Shoot.
And this has nothing to do with anything. Okay, I don't know what you look like with your shirt off, but are you doing it because you think your body is funny? Because are you in shape? Are you out of shape?
I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because it's a fucking. I'll tell you why I'm doing it. Because I was very depressed in Edmonton. And
Who wouldn't be?
Because it's the best comedy city ever. Have you been?
I do Calgary a lot, not Edmonton.
Edmonton's fucking amazing.
No, I probably never will because I just made fun of the city.
Rick will have you in a heartbeat.
Good.
You would kill up there. So I did Edmonton, and I just gotten done Trip Flip, and it was like I was leaving this nuclear family, and then I was going out, and I was by myself. I'm in a condo.
Sure.
I have to walk to go get lunch. There's no all the perks of TV are gone, and now it's back to real life. And I'm like, oh, this sucks. This is who I am. I forgot. I'm this guy. I'm not the guy that stays at a 5-star
This guy eating at the Olive Garden alone at 2 in the afternoon.
As opposed to having a personal chef prepare a meal for us on a mountaintop in Austria. You know, like that.
Yeah.
That guy's gone. I'm back to this is Bert. So
and
I'm
a strip mall in Edmonton.
Yep. I'm depressed as shit, and I'm like, and I cannot get it up, and I'm sick. I feel sick before the first show on Thursday, and I'm like, I gotta get out of this, and I had done this thing with Pete Holmes, and I had done this. Someone introduced me to Kesha. I had heard my daughters introduced me to Kesha, Die Young. So I was like, you know what, that song is. I think it's good beat, and I think it's catchy, but I also think it's silly because it's like I'm 40. It's not meant for me.
You missed the demographic for that. It's not meant for me.
So I told him to play Kesha to bring me up on stage, and it cheered me up. And then I always take my shirt off all the time. It used to be because I was fat. Now I just do it. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I take it off, and I think I did 2 shows that weekend shirtless the whole show.
Let me ask you this: if you had just a Hugh Jackman ripped hot body,
I would not take my shirt off.
There you go.
Yeah.
And therein, folks, lies the rub, because hot isn't funny.
No.
And I get asked all the time, like, why don't you just sexier on stage? I'm like, why put another hurdle between me and the audience? You're already shocked that a woman is speaking.
Yeah.
And so why do that? Why make it so that you're staring at my boobs or my ass the entire time? And that's why, if you're super hot, it's not so funny anymore.
Yeah, that's interesting because, I think that once I'm shirtless, everyone's like, ugh. But then I can make whatever joke I want.
And they're like, he's just like me. They're not intimidated. They're not jealous.
I have seen female comics where I'm like, God damn, her legs are great. And that's what I'm thinking.
And that's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And I've seen girls.
You should do it in a burqa.
I should do it in a burqa and tell all anti-Semitic jokes. I shouldn't have said that. I've seen a lot of girl coming, and
but spend the first 5 minutes trying to figure out to put the mic under the burqa or talk through the mic.
I wonder if they have a mouth hole. No, they have to lift it.
You never Google burqa porn?
Do you think they have? They must have it. Someone
they
did
do.
it. They have everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I watch a lot of girls, and they'll dress up in a dress. I wouldn't wear a dress anyway, a frilly dress or something. And it's like, there's something to be said for that. But showing off the curves of your body, if you have a good body, even if you have a bad body, like having a lot of cleavage or something, it just detracts. I'm up there to say something. Otherwise, I would be modeling.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. But if you're there to do your job, do your job. And
you should look like Johnny Depp.
I would love to.
Yeah.
He's
But
stunning.
just like you shouldn't be like he kind of dresses like on that fence. Like his clothes aren't form fitting. They're kind of loose and baggy, but they look cool as shit.
Right. It's personal preference, but I also I move around a lot. I can't fall down or do a kick or something. I don't know. It's total personal preference, but you will not listen to me as much. That's for a bar. That's why guys always zone out when they're talking to a girl at a bar because she's got a low cut wife beater on. Because it's not for listening, it's for looking.
Yeah. I've been massively distracted these days. I'm listening to my brain a lot more than I ever have because of this Isla shit. But yeah, my wife says that I do not add value to a woman that I don't find attractive. She's valueless to me.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
My wife goes, because I gave a seat to a dude who was a big guy, and there was a big woman that had walked past me,
right?
And I didn't give it to her. And my wife goes, it's interesting that you give it to the guy.
It is interesting.
I go, well, the guy's, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, he's a big guy. He's going to be uncomfortable. I have the single exit row. The single seat on the exit row in the small planes.
Yeah.
I go, I'm uncomfortable. I'll let him have this one. I'll take his. And then we'll switch and we'll sit next to each other. And she was like, well, why didn't you do that to that woman? And I was like, I didn't even see her. My wife's like, exactly. She has no value in your book.
You know what? Because I've thought about this at length. Women are the fairer sex for a reason. We're the more delicate, and we are afforded certain, I don't know if the word opportunities, but we're afforded certain luxuries because of that. You will open the door for us. You'll pay for dinner, all these things. And the ultimate sacrifice is that you have to bear a child one day, which sounds like it's going to suck.
It
but
does.
When women aren't, and whether it's misogynistic or sexist or whatever, when women aren't the archetype that they're supposed to be, when they don't embody these feminine qualities, you have no value to a man because you're not living up to what a woman should be. And so you're not noticing her because, first of all, you're married. So if you're going to look at another woman, it's purely so you can look at a hot girl for a second. And just because that's the way men are, and that's fine. So here's a woman. She offers nothing to you. You're not going to get to know her personality because you already have your wife. And she's not attractive, so there's no reason to look at her. I know that sounds horrible. If that woman asked you for your seat, you would have given it to her.
Yeah.
If that woman asked you, oh, I dropped something, pick it up, you'd be nice. But on a visceral level, she's not holding up her end of the bargain. On an evolutionary level.
Do you talk about any of this on stage?
No.
You should.
I foray into it in terms of I have a whole thing about why women wear makeup and why we dress up. My hour special, which is going to be on Netflix. Super excited.
When?
I don't know. We're doing the artwork this week.
Oh, nice.
It's called War Paint, and it's about the whole thing, or like
I like that.
Thank you. It's about all the things that women do. Like men, they say the whole bit is men are hunters and women are gatherers, and I'm like, kind of, women are gatherers. We gather information about men and then we hunt you. The makeup I have on, I don't wear heels for my circulation. I wear them so you'll look at my butt because it's propped up. Push-up bra, it's not because it's comfortable. Those things are horrible. And you take them off and you're like, oh. I do it so you'll look at my sexual organs and want to mate with me. Yeah. This is why we do everything we do. And the whole thing is about how this is like you put on your makeup because you're going out to look attractive for men.
Yeah.
It's war paint. And the whole thing is a war. It's a battlefield.
I love taking a subject that I have never explored on stage and hearing a comic who's definitely thought about it, and then I go, fuck.
Oh no, yeah,
that was there. That was there. Now when I hear it, I go, that makes sense. Mike McRae, you know Mike McRae? He's a Bob and Tom guy out of Austin. He came and did a set today about or this weekend in Austin about the Boston bomber and the boat. And the bone of contention that boat must have been because it was just sitting in the backyard. You know, that guy bought it, and I'm going to be a fisherman. And she's like, yeah, listen, you. And then during that whole time, they're hiding in the basement with all these guys around them.
Oh my God,
like,
so
you had to get a fucking boat. Mr. Horatio Hornblower over here. He made me laugh so hard, and I go, fuck, I didn't. You know, I saw that on the news, but I just went in my head.
Think about it. But I think that's what's so great about comedy is like what your brain gravitates toward. And you have a billion, I mean, I do, and I can see that you do, like a billion thoughts a minute about everything.
Yeah.
And I think the skill in comedy, or one of the rudimentary skills about it, is having the wherewithal to extrapolate a thought that you just had and be like, that is funny versus this is a normal way of thinking. So, like, you have it to know that, like, what I just thought, like, I think all my thoughts are normal, but they're not. And the reason, and because they're not, that's why I'm a stand-up comic. So it's to be able to pause and be like, wait a minute, what I just thought is something I should talk about versus what I just thought is what everyone else is thinking, because it never is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, he saw the boat that way versus thinking, like, of course everyone's going to make fun of the boat, but no one else did. But he had the wherewithal to take that one shred of a thought and make it a bit.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep. It's totally. I watch, like, there's dudes that do that so well. Why do I say dudes? I'm in the fucking. I'm in here with you, but
no, it's usually dudes.
It's just randomly.
Most female comics
dudes,
are just horrible.
It's comics. I think women are funnier on Twitter than men. Personally, I think
we're better writers.
I think so. Yeah.
You know what? I got to be honest, and I hate saying this because I used to be all like, because I consider myself like a funny person, not a funny for a girl. I can smell female comics from a mile away, and I can feel, like, when I read a writing packet, I can tell when a girl's written it.
Really?
There's just a certain, and there are some, for my pilot I'm doing, there was a one girl writer that I had to have. Her name is Cece Pleasant. She's amazing. And I like her because she writes, and you can't tell who's writing that.
Yeah.
Girls, it's a lot of time, it's just this, like, nagging, like, every punchline is a dick joke or an abortion joke or a dating joke and you're just like, do you do anything else besides fuck? Do you do anything else? Oh my God.
I've had that same question brought to me by my manager though. Do you do anything else other than want blowjobs?
Oh my God, that's so. But for some, it's okay when a guy does it. But again, because the women are the fairer sex, and because we're put on such pedestals, when a girl does it, there is shock value. Take someone like Sarah Silverman, who's great.
Yeah.
She did it, but then you have so many iterations of her and girls that are like, if I tell a dirty joke without any of the intelligence, then I can do it too, and that's where I start to get bothered.
Yeah, it is interesting because Sarah was pretty much a trailblazer in that. Like, I hadn't seen when I first saw her do stand up. I was like, holy shit! And then I saw Wanda Sykes, and Wanda Sykes was like fucking murderer.
Sure.
I saw her and I was like, holy shit! And then I was like, in New York, I never really saw women comics that didn't kill. That was because it was such a fucking boys club that you had to break.
You have to claw your way. Yeah.
But yeah, and I don't really see. I don't know. I don't have a problem with like female comics.
No, I don't have a problem with. Look, if you're funny, all I want to do is be your best friend.
Yeah, that's all I care about.
People can make, and people always ask me, they'll give me like specific, we don't have to do this, like girl comics, do you like this? They're always trying to get you to pick fights with each other.
Yeah.
I have no issue personally with any girl. I've never gotten in an argument with them. I don't have any beef with anyone. If you're funny, all I want to do is listen to your stuff.
Yeah.
If you're not funny, and by the way, there are plenty of unfunny male comics, if not more.
Oh, there's much more.
Because there's just more men that do
there's
it.
a lot of it's so funny. What I find unfunny in male comics these days is also passing as funny. Like people are like, that guy's great, but I'm like, that's not great. It's just a style. You're looking at the way he's dressed, and you're associating him with the scene.
You're talking about alt comics.
I'm not talking about alt comics, but I am talking about like the person I'm talking about right now is definitely. I'll tell you after. But like I watched some shit I got online, and it was like. I was watching some videos, and some guys were funny as shit, and then some guys weren't actually funny. They were just doing the mating ritual, the dance that they've seen the comics do in their area.
Yeah, they're mimicking it.
And mind you, on the road, I run into that exact same thing for a big chunk of time of like what Dane or like the Comedy Store
Because they're
was doing.
so isolated in their city that they don't have any current references because they're not in the thick of it.
And they're not bold enough to break out and have their own voice. You know,
they don't know any better.
Right. I'll tell you a perfect example of a guy who doesn't do that is Mike Birbiglia. Mike Birbiglia decided to change his act, do an entire storytelling. I mean, he's one of those guys where I kind of looked at him and I was like I think he doesn't get enough due as a great comic. But like Bill Burr changed his style, Louis changed his style. Like, and these guys are just simply doing what they're simply going through the motions of what they've seen work, and they're putting on the outfit of what they've seen work, and they're doing that. And I go, for me, that's unoriginal. There was a guy I saw.
You're saying those guys are unoriginal? Or you're saying they've changed it?
I don't know what I said.
You're talking about Louis C.K. and
they've changed the thing.
I was like, that's pretty bold to say on a podcast.
No. Those guys, Louis and Bill and them, they literally were like, "This is my voice."
But I think that's also, these guys are older. I'm not saying they're old, but they've had the luxury of going through an evolution.
Yes.
So it's unfair to look at, even though you look at a 21-year-old kid who's like doing stoner jokes and fucking jokes, and it's like you got to go through this catharsis to get to find your voice. So it's unfair to look at those older guys and be like, look where they are, because who knows what kind of jokes they were telling at 21.
Oh, I know what jokes Louis and Bill were telling. Yeah, not Louis, but Bill. I know what jokes he was telling, and what I've watched them, and I watched them Metamorphosis. But what I find unoriginal is guys who are just simply going through the motions of what they think are funny. And that's, like, I don't like. Funny is funny. When you're original, I don't care if you're alt or black or white.
That is the key.
Female.
Just be original.
Yeah.
Or at least strive to be original, or try to. Absolutely. And when they go, sometimes they'll tell a joke and I want to pull them and be like, do you think that's funny?
Yeah.
Or did you just say pussy because you thought that would be the okay punchline?
Exactly. Do you find there's one guy I can say that I remember watching him and going, I don't know his name. He has 3 names, like Charles Nelson Riley. This guy was so fucking funny. I don't think he's even doing it anymore. But man.
Is it Eric Charles Nielsen?
That's it.
Yeah.
That kid
was like a Far Side character.
So fucking him.
Yeah.
We were doing an audition for Aspen, and I went on and I literally was like, I cannot follow that.
Sure.
That was so
unique.
And original and real, and that I was like, he wrote those.
Yeah.
And he experienced those, and
it
those
makes
are his
you want to be a
feelings.
better comic.
Yes.
You see stuff like that. I remember the first time I saw Dane Cook, and you can think whatever you want about Dane.
I'll tell you exactly what I think. I remember the first time I saw Dane Cook, and I was like, holy fucking shit, this guy's a monster.
I saw him at the Laugh Factory, and I was like, and I left. I had just started comedy like that week, and I don't own his. I mean, I'd heard his album and stuff like that, but I've never watched a performance at length since then. But I saw that, And it's inspiring. When you see a good comic, it makes you want to write more. It makes you rethink the way you think things.
He redefined everything. I talked about this with Bill a little bit. I'm just making sure we're still recording.
Yep.
That's the
Should be the
name
worst.
of this podcast.
Yeah.
But Bill,
Making sure we're still recording.
I don't think enough people really understand what a fucking great comic he is. Like,
Sure.
like I would watch him. He was the first guy that I ever went, so wait, he's never going to bomb?
Right.
Like, he's going to murder every fucking time. No, since we've seen that Dane's taken some chances, and he's definitely had some negative sets recently that were kind of noted. But
Noted.
he's taking chances, and
He was the first. You saw it, and it's so funny. Like I will, for whatever people think about him now, I will defend him vehemently in a comedy discussion because we're the first guy. He was good looking.
Yep.
He was in shape. He was aggressive. He was happy. He was a happy comic. He wasn't a want to kill myself. I hate everything. He was the first one to make it happy. First social media comic, and his style was unprecedented, and no one had done anything like that. Now, I mean, everyone people have even accused me of that, and I just think when you're aggressive or when you're fast, people associate with that because that's one of the icons of stand-up for our time.
Yeah.
But what he was doing was original, and he deserves so much credit for that.
oh yeah,
He came onto the scene, boom, I'm like nothing else. And I think it's an amazing thing that he did. And people crap on him, and it's just like, but you couldn't do what he did.
no
Epic.
one could. I tried. I tried. I wanted to be like him. I saw him go up and just murder and get deal after deal after deal, and I was like, I got to learn how to murder better because I was like
be
a
a better
New York
murderer.
comic, and I was like, I could tell. I found my voice very quickly, but I didn't know how to write jokes very well. So I found my voice very quickly, and I could get deals because I could tell a couple stories that worked for me, and they were real. But then I went on the road and I was like, God, I'm not that good of a comic. And then I spent fucking big chunk trying to figure it out. Now I'm like, it's funny when you say you did that Last Comic Standing tour at 3 years. I'm like, I would have totally had the 45 minutes.
Sure.
I would have totally been like, I can do this. I got it. But man, I would have melted worse than you had I been with a bunch of comics that were, kind of being shitty and jealous. I would have been a fucking mess.
Oh, yeah. Who says I wasn't? I don't know. I mean, as long as you can do the crying when you're by yourself and just like save face when you're there.
You know what I'm thinking about doing? This is my new brainchild.
Okay.
Doug Benson does 4 p.m. shows, 4:20 shows.
Yeah.
I
Shocker.
want to do 8 a.m. shows. I want to do an 8 a.m. show at a comedy club where the goal is like fucking Monday morning call-in sick show.
Can I be on it?
Yes. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. No, but it would be an experience.
It would be interesting. So like I'm thinking about doing it in DC. So we do the
We
weekend.
fly in that morning.
Yeah,
we land at 6.
Yeah. And it's a call-in sick show.
That's
so
funny.
everyone goes, guys, we're selling tickets. They're going to be super cheap because you're going to like $10 tickets. Like it's going to just so that you
You
go.
should do?
What?
You should have, like, right before the show, like, everyone called in sick to be there. Whoever called in sick from the best job gets, like, an improv t-shirt or something.
Yeah.
Like, you work for the president, you called in sick? Okay, you get a free night at the improv or something, just to, like, make it worth it.
Or how great would it be? I mean, you could get, that would be so fucking awesome. And it would be, because my favorite thing is morning drinking. Like, drinking at 8 a.m. and then going into, like, noon and going to sleep. Like, that's my favorite thing to do. So you do it, like, it's like, who doesn't love St. Patty's Day?
Right.
I'm telling you, because I was like, I would love to go into a club and just do like a Monday morning show at 8 a.m.
I think that'd be a fun thing to do. Like MySpace, you do like their
Or
secret
maybe even
shows.
Friday morning.
Any morning.
Yeah.
Monday morning might be tough. Friday morning, you're more apt to get people that are like starting their weekend early.
Like, fuck it. I'm calling it sick Friday.
That'd be fun. I'm not a day drinker, so I can drink. I can drink at night. Like I'm pride myself on being a really good drinker. I'm pretty good drunk, but day drinking, that's tough.
Oh, I love
that's
it.
for professionals.
Oh yeah, that was my go-to for a while. Like when I was like, because I was partying hard on the road, and then I'd go in and do radio, and I'd just be like, "You guys got anything to drink in here?" And then the wheels would come off. I'll never forget. I was with DJ Laz in Miami. The first time I ever did it, I think was with DJ Laz in Miami, and I was like, I'm really hungover. I could use like a drink to right the boat. And they were like, "You want to do a shot?" And I was like, "Let's do a shot."
Yeah.
And the Haitian Mafia was in there, the Zopound, and we ended up getting fucked up. And then halfway through, I realized I'm with a bunch of gangbangers.
Yeah. Like these people buy women. This is fantastic.
So then Laz came out to my show, and we partied all fucking night.
That's so fun.
And then I know the first time I ever did it was with Elliot in the morning. Elliot in the Morning in DC. You ever done Elliot?
No, I do a different one.
He's the best. He has so much fun.
That is fun. When I go to, I was thinking Baltimore. Sorry, I haven't played DC.
You haven't played DC?
When I go to Baltimore to do the Comedy Factory, I do this morning show, and it's my weekend for the last 2 years is always like right before the Ravens go to the game that will decide if they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
Great.
Playoff thing.
Ball, yeah.
And I go in the morning. I get up at 6 a.m. and I go to this bar. They like take me there, and I sit with them while they do a live show.
Wait, is it what's his name's brother?
Yeah. Why am I blanking? This is so embarrassing.
Chip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it his brother?
It's his brother.
Chip's brother?
Yeah, I think so.
What the fuck's his name?
Does he smoke electronic cigarettes?
He might have, but it's sitting there. It's so funny because
Chip, and then there's Spiegelman is another dude.
Maybe
Spiegelman's absolutely.
Why am I blanking now?
I'm blanking on Chip's brother's name right now, but
he's a comic too.
Yep. Yep. God damn it.
We'll edit it in later. You'll just like say it over this part.
Oh, his name is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's his name. I remember.
But we're sitting there, and there's like a table set up, and there's all these drunk Ravens fans, and I feel bad because everyone's having the best time, and we're talking and making people like, and it's the sort of the introduction to my weekend, and like that's my weekend there, and I always feel bad because it's so lost on me. Like I say, go Ravens because I'm there.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco, that's what I got. Like that's it. Like it's all I know.
Waka flacco.
It's just I'm like, why am I here? And they're like, this will be your weekend, and I'm like, I guess sure. But someone like you would enjoy it because you'd be drinking and hanging out.
I'd love it. I would fucking drink that.
I'm just sitting there like, why am I wearing makeup this early?
I always do. You put on makeup for radio?
Because everyone's there. It's not like by yourself. It's at a bar. It's at a bar, by the way.
I do. God damn it! How did I just forget that thought? I do. St. Patty's Day. I do. Those are always my fun morning shows.
Oh my gosh!
Like when you go in and it's St. Patty's Day and you're like, I did one with Elliot and we did kegs and eggs. I just flew in for that. I flew in just to do a St. Patty's Day show, shirts off the entire time.
Are you drunk on stage?
Oh yeah.
I've never in my, it's my own sort of dogma that I won't drink or do anything before I go on stage. And I
don't do it before I go on stage.
Oh,
when I do stand up, I do not drink before I go on stage. I mean, I have, but I don't. By usually what I do is I bring my first drink up on stage and I have my first drink. It's a celebration.
Right,
the party starts.
It's so funny because we're so lucky to do this for a living because this is one of the only jobs aside from being like a rock star where if you showed up drunk, not that you do, or you drink at work, if you showed up wasted, it's perfectly acceptable. Like, this is what comics do.
Yeah,
they're actually shocked
the club
when you
gets
aren't.
excited because they're like, oh, so we're gonna sell a lot of drinks tonight.
Yeah, I don't do it just because I've gone so long without. I've never done that, and so now I'm like, it's part of. The way I see it is this, like these people, and this has nothing to do with anyone else's beliefs, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
The people that come to comedy shows for the most part are, say, middle class, and you don't have a huge entertainment budget. So here you are spending like $60, if not more, which is a big chunk of money for most people, $60 a person or something like that, to enjoy yourself. The least I can do is show up sober and do the best because all I have to do is work 1 hour tonight.
Yeah.
So I give them that respect, and I also don't think I could handle it. I think I'd get weird, but I think you've had enough experience with drinking that your act is the same, if not better.
Well, I think people. If I didn't drink, I think people would be like,
It's part of your shtick.
Well, yeah. With people. I know for a fact that people come to my shows to party with the machine.
Sure.
They want to send me a shot.
It's part of your act.
They want to see me pound a beer. If I have a beer and I take a sip, everyone's shouting, "Kill it!
Yeah,
kill it!" Like, and the shows they like the best are the late shows where I've had 4 shots, I've had 3 beers, and they know that I was drinking on the first show, and then I start doing this thing called secret time where I just like I'm not even doing stand up anymore.
Telling people
like,
secrets.
Yeah, I'm like just telling secrets about like and
so
like
funny.
So like and then at the end, inevitably at the end they'll all start yelling the story they want to hear, and if I'm drunk I tell them.
I think that's great. I think any comic that enjoys the craft of it and the camaraderie that you have with the audience, because I look at the audience like a group of friends I'm about to make my friends, like versus the enemy or anything like that, and so I think that sounds amazing. You'd like to get to that point. I just would be so terrified that someone would send me a shot, then someone would say something horrible, and then I wouldn't have the wherewithal to like heckle them back, and then it would just security would be there, and I'd be like, "Get me out of here."
Something horrible.
Something that's happened. Here's something funny. I was at a comedy club in Webster, New York, which is near Rochester. I was just there. And The last show wasn't particularly busy. It was the first nice day of the season, so no one was inside.
I ran into that in Portland.
I was like, will you just write on, like at the end of the night when you do the paperwork, will you please write, hey, it was really hot outside. That's why no one was here. So it was, but there was a bachelorette party that came to see me, which was the saving grace, and that was cool. But it's a big room, and it was a small enough crowd that if you were talking to someone in the front row, like I could hear it. If it's a packed house and you're talking, I kind of let it go. So these people are talking, and they're talking the whole time, and it's so rude because everyone else is listening quietly. And they're talking. And, as a comic, you toy with that. Do I call them out? Do I let it go? Like, you have to kind of, like, weigh out your options.
Yeah.
And as the guy's talking, I hear him say, yeah, get an 8-ball. And I stop. I stop my set, and I just look at him. I go, I'm sorry. Are you dealing cocaine in my front row? And he was like, and he just stared at me, and the girl goes, yeah. Like, just being a bitch. And I was like, get out.
Yeah.
He's like, how do you know? I go, there's no fucking pool table here. So you're clearly dealing cocaine. Get out. I go, you're talking super loud, which makes it even worse. I go, so either shut up or get out. And the guy goes, which do you prefer? I go, I want you to leave. Yeah. I will make the same amount of money regardless. And quite frankly, I'm tired. He goes, okay, I'll sit quietly. And I was like, fine. And I let him sit. And then they ran out on their bill. Like, they were just nightmares. I'm like, who deals cocaine, like, in the front row of a comedy show?
What a fucking piece of... I had a guy at a Des Moines show one time. I came up with a movie premise for this because there was a huge wedding party. The whole family was in town for the wedding, and they came out to see my show.
Yeah.
And the guy sitting next to him was so obnoxious the whole show that I was like, ugh. Oh my God. At one point I said, you know what? To the wedding party, I go, you guys should hire him to come to your wedding because you're guaranteed he's going to act like an asshole. And so that will be cover for anyone else who fucks up. Like, no one's going to talk about your dad trying to kiss.
Let him be the foil.
Let him be the fucking asshole. And I was like, ooh, that's a movie script. And then I was like...
The wedding asshole. Like, he gets hired.
The asshole.
That's
for
great.
Everything. You hire him for company retreats. You hire him for,
That's a great idea because we all love that one person that gets in trouble. It's always fun to watch
Usually it's me. Like, I used to be me for a long time. Bertcast's wedding, I was the asshole.
Right.
Like, I definitely got blamed for everything when it was Buddy Hackett.
Oh, my God. That's so... What an unrelatable sentence.
Yeah. All right, I got to go to a barbecue.
Okay.
What are you going to do today?
I'm probably going to work out, and then I'm going to say I'm going to do some writing, but I'm probably really going to watch Arrested Development.
Really? Oh, it's on.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Were you a fan?
Yeah, I was, but I'll check it out.
Even if you didn't see the last season, like, it's the writing, there is more intelligent writing in a scene of that show than in seasons for most shows. Like, it's just so you're like, oh, like your brain can relax for a second. You're like, so good.
What kind of workout are you going to do?
Probably going to do, I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the elliptical for 20 minutes because I hate running and I get bored easily. Yeah. If I don't have my phone, then I can't do elliptical. Elliptical for 20, and then we do a lot of lunges because I don't like my thighs. And then we'll do a series of push-ups and arm extensions. It's just me. I don't know. I was saying we, and then I'll probably maybe take a picture of me with my shirt off and tweet that. And no, we don't do that. Just get a workout in.
Do you ever think about starting a fake Vine account for a fake porn star that you're not, and just being like doing just a parody account? Have you ever watched the porn stars Vines account?
No.
Vine account? Oh, they're awesome.
What is it? I mean, I know what Vine is, but like, what do they do that makes it?
Porn stars. I'll tell you what, I'm obsessed with Jessie Andrews. Do you know who she is?
No.
She's she's young. She did porn. You could tell she just probably had a bad childhood. And then she needed to get out of it. That's what now mind you, I'm writing a lot of backstory for this woman that I've only seen a clip of her porn, but I follow her Vine account.
Okay.
She's a DJ, she designs jewelry, and she has the coolest fucking life. But I can't get past the fact that she's a porn star. That's where she started.
Nor should you.
Yeah, so but I'm obsessed with her Vine account.
Was painted or are they hurt?
They're painted.
Okay.
This one's hurt. I dropped a kettlebell on it.
Oh my God.
Actually, I didn't. Can I tell you the truth? I stubbed it. I said,
it was this kettlebell right here.
Yeah, and I just felt stupid to say that I stubbed it because it hurt so bad.
Sure.
It hurt more than a stub toe, so I said I dropped a weight on it. And my wife goes, oh, God, that looks awful. Let's see if we can fix it. My fucking 8-year-old is just sitting there silently. And then my wife goes, and she comes up, Georgia goes, how did you drop a weight on one toe? And I went, I'm sorry? She goes, you would have dropped it on 2 toes. You didn't drop a weight on that. And I went, baby, don't fucking talk back. I go,
that'll teach her to independently think.
She was like, Daddy, I'm just saying, like, if you dropped a weight, like, how did you just get that toe?
You're like, what is this, CSI? Go to your room.
Fuck off.
Oh my God,
I was like, this one's going to be a tough one to fucking raise.
Oh my God, she's gonna be the best liar.
Look at plans. She's like, hey, let's go work out.
You gotta go pee? You wanna go out?
Do you want to go meet Priscilla?
She hates when you stare at her. She starts to think there's something wrong. You wanna go meet the other dogs? You've got something on your mouth and your beard.
You have anything you want to promote? I don't really get time to. I have an easier time talking to women sometimes.
Well, you're so affable.
Have you ever gotten a bracelet from Links of London?
Shut up. Shut up.
Being dead serious.
Shut up. I own all of them. These are all Links of London.
That's all I kept thinking when I saw that I have a Links of London bracelet.
Let's talk about, we can talk about it after the thing. I own so many, and they're so overpriced, but it's like my one thing that I have
They're great fucking
when I go to
bracelets.
New York, because they don't have a store here.
Yeah, they got one in Soho.
In Soho, yeah, I go that one. There's one on Fifth Avenue, I
You wanna
think.
know, I guess I can't. I'll tell you off.
I just
I'll tell
got
you
this
off
one.
air.
I
Oh,
just
you know this person. We have a mutual friend who has a house above that. What? No.
Oh, well, she's not a mutual friend.
Yo, don't you know her?
Yeah. I was on her show, but I don't.
Oh, stop it! Yeah.
Someone, I would like to think we're friends. I love this, and they just did.
I brought you up to her. She
was great.
Yeah, she
what a
loves it.
firecracker.
Yeah, she's great.
Tiny.
She's fucking awesome.
She's great. But I was worried about Links in London. They did this thing where they were like, send us a picture and we'll send you, like, you can enter to win a bracelet. So I loaded up both arms with all my bracelets. Like, I'm the last person that needs a free one.
Yeah.
And I sent it in and I didn't win. And I was like, this is bullshit. Like, I probably sent one of your kids to college with all the bracelets I bought.
Those are great fucking bracelets.
They're the best.
I got one, and then it was.
Why did you bring that up? That's so weird.
Because I looked at
you
one
saw
of them.
it. Oh.
I looked at one of those, and I was like, I wonder if she's ever. They look like they're from Links of London.
They are.
Links of London's a really cool bracelet. I got introduced to them by a guy named Duncan James. I think that's his name. He was in a band called Blue, out of the UK. It was a boy band, and we did a show together. He did the European one, and I did the American one. But we used the same set, same cast, same everything.
Yeah.
We'd flip out hosts, and he had it, and I go, that's a badass bracelet. And he's like, Links of London. I got it in London. You got to try it, mate. So I found one in Soho, and I got one. The only problem is they need to make them. They make them for men, but they need to make them. I need more.
Links.
For men. Yeah, I need it stops too soon, so it's only half a bracelet, really.
Okay. See, mine are
Yeah, yours are perfect. Georgia, my oldest, will wear it. She loves it.
the best.
Yeah, it's the fucking greatest.
Okay, well,
everyone check them out. They're really cool bracelets. Links of London. That's how I think sponsorship should go on a podcast.
Yeah, like I like your product.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a link on my website to Links of London. It's like an Amazon link. I wonder if I can get so people go, oh, what is that? Just go to Bertcast. I'll put it up there.
And they should care. Like Links of London should write you back and be like, hey, thanks. Here's a free bracelet for Eliza.
Yeah. Combos.
No, they're
I
great.
want
And you can
combos.
design your own, which is super expensive.
You can design your own?
I think I might have made that up, but I think they did it at one point where you could pick your own colors. I think it's more for the friendship bracelet ones. I walk in the store and I'm like, I got money to burn. What are the new ones?
That's a great icebreaker if you ever have a meeting with a lesbian. Lesbians love Links of London.
Oh, really? I kind of give off a lesbian vibe sometimes too. So that kind of sucks.
Oh, I remember I wore mine into a meeting and the woman was in charge of the production company. So like right up here, I forget her name. She was a really nice lady. We did a show for House Hunters or something. And she goes, she was like, Links of London. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, I got all their shit.
Because it's kind of like manly.
It's kind of manly.
Yeah,
it's strong.
Yeah.
They're badass bracelets. And I'm not, this is my bracelet I got. I got this in Amsterdam.
Oh, is that turquoise?
Yes,
and
turquoise.
It's like a wire
like
of sorts?
Wire. It's my power color.
Oh,
and then
cool.
Georgia put this one on me, so I can't take it off. And then this is my Fitbit.
I just like having things on my wrists.
I do too. I'm a big wrist guy.
Yeah, it's comforting.
Yeah, I love a bracelet, and I love one bracelet, but then what happens is I'll build it up, and like there was a point where I looked like fucking Johnny Depp. I had like
that's
2
so funny.
beads, 3. I walked into a meeting at UTA, and Chris Hart's like, "Hey, what's up with all the bracelets?" I was
Shut up! I own you.
maybe not.
How's this meeting gonna go?
Yeah, no,
of London.
That's great. Oh, now I'm gonna go put my Links of London bracelet on.
We'll take a picture. I'll tweet it.
Yeah, perfect.
I feel like you asked me something, but I don't
Anything
remember.
to promote?
To promote my Twitter at Eliza. It's just my name.
How many followers do you have?
Not that much, like 35,000.
Really?
I don't know what happened. I just don't have luck. And I really put thought into my tweets, and they're funny. I will say this: for the small following I have, they're very loyal.
Yeah.
And they're I have inside jokes, much like your stand-up show, where it's like they come for a certain thing, inside jokes, and it's like a community I've created. So I'm okay with that versus just like a bunch of like random people.
Yeah.
At Eliza, ILIZA. Warpaint will be coming out on Netflix soon. And YouTube did a comedy week.
Yeah.
And so I just did stand up for them.
Did you do that?
I did.
How was it?
It was so fun. And the internet, so you can wear whatever you want. You could have a giant shirt that says Nike. It doesn't matter. You can curse. You can do whatever you want.
That's fucking.
So if you go to my Facebook page, fan page, or the regular page, you can watch a clip of that and like it.
Why I'm pulling out a beer now? I should have done this a long time ago.
That's really funny. But those are the big things. And then, of course, you can watch my dating show, Excused.
You did, by the way, and I'll say this. I say this as a stand-up comedian / professional host.
Okay.
I've been hosting TV shows for 13 years. Professionally, I've been making my living. Stand-up has not paid the bills for the majority of this.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like you're a really successful stand-up comedian.
Stand-up does now, but like,
okay.
there was a time where I was like a $2,000 a night headliner, like, and with 2 kids, a wife, like, I'm like, that does not cut the
Right,
fucking
for
cheese.
sure.
My wife had to work a job for a very long time, so what I would do is I would take jobs hosting. I learned the muscle on the Show the X Show, and I've gotten much better at it, I think, or
Yeah,
at least
your show's
okay.
super funny.
So, but it's, it's like you take the job. It's a job. You take the job and you try to put as much of you in it while keeping the client, the network, happy and what
At
they
bay.
get. Yeah, and always be very respectful of their notes because it's their product.
Yep.
It's not yours.
Right.
You're not there to sell me. We're there to sell fucking tires.
Sure.
So. Where the fuck was I going? Anyway, that's how I made my money. I do pilots. For
I
like
said I hosted
10 grand.
Excused. That's
Yeah. So I've been. And I say that from a professional standpoint. I saw one. I was watching it the other night, and it was one. I think your hair was back, and it was you.
Was it a bun?
Going on a tirade on the guy at the end. It was just you ranting on the guy.
The credits. Yeah.
It was fucking hilarious. I was like, if I could get that. I swear to God when I say this, if Trip Flip would put on my credits or my bloopers or whatever it is at the end of the show, just to show like how fucking, because I saw that and I was like, oh my God, you are quick as fuck.
Thank you.
And I was like, and I literally thought this is such a stepping stone for something so much bigger.
I hope. And I appreciate that compliment, especially coming from you. I will say this, if you want to know this quick story, I got the audition, like, agents like, do you want, and by the way, this wasn't offered to me. Like, I'm not at that stage where people are just offering me stuff that isn't stand-up. So they were like, do you want to audition for this? And I said, no. So I went in begrudgingly. And as a comic, they always want you to rewrite the audition and do it and be yourself. So I did. They're like, there's a callback. Do you want to go? And I said, no, but I went. Producer session. Do you want to go? I said, no. We're making a pilot. They want you. Do you want to go? I said, no. But I kept doing it because I knew that there was something that I didn't know. Like, there's a reason you got to do these things. So I did it. I really didn't want to be there because as an artist and you've got your integrity and all that other bullshit. So you're like, I don't want to do a dating show. Those credits were not a part of the show. They had all that extra stuff because I would just go on. They'd be like, all right, we got it. I'd be like, no, I've got something else to say. They put that in after they decided after the edit. So that wasn't a part of the show format. And that show, I get so many people you watch the show for me. Like, that's not even me being too cool for school. Like, you do. Yeah. You can only watch so many people from the Inland Empire like whip cream off each other in the name of love. People watch it specifically for those end credits. Yeah. It's so short, but it's so fun. And as a comic, I'm so lucky that the producers of that show let me be myself. They never made me say anything I didn't want to say. They would let me be funny. So that's something, it's rare that comics get that opportunity in a hosting gig or in any gig to get to be yourself while still under the veil of their corporate dating show. Yeah. And so I was very fortunate in that. And fortunate that I get residual checks.
Do you really?
Yeah, the show hasn't been aired for like 10 months. Like, we haven't shot it. We shot 230 episodes over 2 years.
You shot 230 episodes?
130 the first summer and then 100 the next summer.
Holy.
One a day, every day.
I'm trying to figure out how much money you made.
There's like a weird formula. And now it airs in other countries. It wasn't per episode. It was like per week, but you had to do 5 in a week, and then there's whatever you make there's like some weird algebraic.
I'm trying to figure. I've been through enough deals where I can.
We can talk about it off the thing. I'll tell you how much I made.
But you know what you did for that though, and this is the thing that I think some comics I don't think they understand when they go into host a show is that you got to be on brand. You got to make sure that whatever you're doing is what they hired you for, what they wanted the show to be before they even met you. But you give them so much extra
that it becomes your platform, your thing. Yeah, it's still love,
and then you make it into the show. The thing
that people want to watch.
The thing that you want Like, and it's every show. It never happens in first season. They've got to figure out your voice. They've got to get you a little bit. The network's got to get you. The network's got to be comfortable getting you. The client's got to get you. And so yeah, I think that. But that end
Thank
credit
you.
was fun. They're funny as shit. And I went, oh my God. I was like, if I had something like that on my reel, that looks like it was on your reel. Like that looked like something you go, ooh, pull that, put it on my reel.
They're funny little snippets and you get it. And it was, people, no one's ever made fun of me for it. Cause like, look, it's a cheesy dating show. And it's some people did Blind Date, which everyone loved Blind Date. And at first I was kind of embarrassed, but then I think it's David Cross that has this, might be his quote, or someone, not Patton Oswalt. It's one of those guys. And someone had accused him of selling out because he had done like some big cartoon. And I think it was David Cross. And I can't remember right now.
It's Patton Oswalt. Keep going.
That says, I looked into it and you can't buy a boat with street cred.
Yeah. And I think it was Patton Oswalt because David Cross said he threw that script across the room.
Right.
And apparently Patton caught it.
Yeah. And it's like, look, we're all entertainers. We're just like the fact that I did that show, I don't have to take a gig this month that I don't want to take because I suffered through that. And it's a platform. Was the show the biggest hit ever? Not by a long shot. Is it going to get me anything else? Maybe not. And that's what people don't understand.
It will.
Well,
that's
in a weird
the thing.
way.
It will. It'll show up. Everything begets everything. I did Bert the Conqueror. I thought that was going to go fucking nowhere. I really thought this will we'll do 10 episodes and I'll get that check for the 10. And then there's no way it's getting picked up. Because I remember thinking, I'm just riding roller coasters.
Right.
But then we added to it. We added some more extreme stuff and the roller coasters, and it really worked. It resonated. And then I did a second season, and I was like, holy shit, I get to buy a house. So I buy a house, and then I'm like, and then when that was done, I was like, I'm nothing but grateful. I got a man cave out of it. I got a house. I got amazing experience. I have amazing life experience, but amazing professional experience. And then Travel Channel called up, and they're like, how about we do another show?
Sure.
And now I'm there. Now I've been there for, I think, 5 years. And I'm the happiest. I talked to my agents the other day. I go, my goal in life is to be bigger than Travel Channel, but always work for Travel Channel. I would like to be...
Because they helped you when you needed it. Now you want to help them.
I would like to be like not a movie star, but I would love a four camera sitcom that shoots in L.A. that I can do, that's a hit.
And not have to travel. Oh, you love traveling, but just like...
yeah.
If I could just sit here for a minute, if I could buy groceries one week, that'd be great.
If I could just spend 6 months at home shooting a sitcom.
Maybe go to a friend's birthday party, maybe make a wedding or two.
And then always have a series on Travel Channel where it's like I come back. Like, so hypothetically speaking, say Bourdain really embraced his relationship with that network, and he should have, in my opinion. Although his show on CNN is pretty fucking good.
I like that.
It's really good.
The one he did, what is it? Found
Without reservation. No. Lost in... Dangerous Grounds. No.
Nope. That's
on Travel Channel.
That sounds like a Lifetime movie about a woman that kills her husband.
No, it's a show about a guy who finds coffee beans in dangerous places.
Oh my God.
Todd Carmichael. I'm hoping to talk to him in Philly because I'm obsessed with his.
Pitch is something. Yeah. But they did one about L.A., which was super fun because they did all about. I'm obsessed with Koreatown. If you want to go drinking.
I watched the one on Columbia yesterday.
Would you like to go drinking in Koreatown? I watched the Columbia one. I'm sorry, I'm not into fresh produce. I'm not going to Columbia. You're like, the produce. I'm like, I can go to Ralph's. It's fine. We live in a first world country. But they did one on K-Town. There's a bar in Koreatown. We should go one night if you want to go drinking.
100%.
Called Frank and Hank. It's a hole in the wall. The drinks are like $5, super cheap. They've got a pool table.
Let's take Bill Burr.
Okay.
Bill and I were saying we got to go drinking one night.
I would love to. We'll exchange things after. I would love to.
Me, you, Bill Burr, and Pete Holmes.
Great. It'd be so fun. And we can make vine. I love Koreatown. And then you can go in all these restaurants where they serve you all the kimchi, which is gross, but like everything else.
I love kimchi.
I love Koreatown. Great. We'll make a degenerate night out of it.
That'll be fucking awesome. I would do that in a heartbeat. All right, I'm going to send the mass text.
Let's do it. Excused airs in Los Angeles at 2 a.m.
Is that what it's called?
Excused, yeah. It's not called Exposed, even though that's a strip club, but they have the same X logo that we have.
That's not the name of it.
No, my show.
Oh,
sorry.
I'm looking for
I thought you wanted. His is called. It's
off
like,
limits.
We're getting
out of
it's
bounds.
Not like property found, but it's finding glory.
I know what it is. I watched 2 episodes last night, and I was like, and I actually really liked it. I thought. And part of me was like I really wanted to be like, hey, I don't think I need you to eat anymore. Like
he eats gross. Yeah.
no, I go. I don't need you to eat. Like
I just want you to be you.
Yeah, I just wouldn't mind you just having drinks with these people. You don't need to have a meal with the guy who started the summer of independence in Palestine or whatever. Like, I don't need to know that because
Right.
they went to KFC. I was like, fucking take the food out. You're interesting as fuck.
Interesting as fuck, but
You're not
truthfully-
he's not even really like a chef in my book. Like,
No, he's just like a traveler that
Yeah.
eats. Sometimes he eats stuff like he'll go to like a weird restaurant and he'll eat stuff, and I'm like, you're lying. Like, there's no way those chicken feet are good. There's just no way. And I think you're making us feel bad because we don't like them.
I have a theory about food on TV, and I have a feeling that anything that's Asian that's got a good color to it that pops on TV makes you hungry. Like sometimes,
Like MSG for the eyes?
The color, yeah. It's like anything like a red maroon sauce with a layer of darker red, like
Sure.
fat. I just start going, oh, I'm so fucking hungry.
So hungry, and they're eating like kidneys, but you're like, oh, it looks so good.
God, I want that so bad.
They went to Jollibee. Do you know what that is? It's a Korean.
I do.
It's that fast food place, right? And
Yeah.
and it's like weird. And they have like a Spam burger and this weird shake, but them eating it, they're like, it's so salty and sweet. You're like, I would never eat that, but it looks so good when they're eating it.
I would love to do a series like that at some point. Something not like that, but just something more. What was I had a brilliant idea yesterday. Oh yeah, I'm obsessed with Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. Do you know? Have you listened to it?
Is it on the history?
No,
listen to it. No,
it's a podcast.
don't
It's
listen.
fucking awesome.
Okay, yeah,
It's
I love
great.
history.
It's great. And I was like, when I travel, a lot of times I'll pick up like a James Michener book and I'll read about those people while I'm in that area. Like when I
Sure.
did that in the Caribbean, I read the Caribbean. Did that in Hawaii, I read Hawaii. I did that in Europe. I backpacked through Europe. I read, I think it was called The Travelers. I think that's what I forget. But so I was like, what if you did? I love history. Like I would love to do some like go with a historian and get the facts about the people, look at the people and find the traits that they have.
Yeah,
and where
and be
those
like, here's
traits
why.
came from.
I'm so into that stuff.
Yeah.
Last names. I always like. I'll meet someone. I'll be like, let me figure out what you are, and it sounds like creepy. But like facial features, I like to be able to attribute like they have a bridge because that tribe can like it's a study, and it's not a study I've done, but I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's I was listening to the one he did about Germanic tribes. For the first time in my life, I identified. Now, this is weird because it does borderline. Anything that is Germanic always borderlines on racism because of Adolf Hitler.
Sure.
So it is. I understand that listening to it. However, for the first time in my life, I felt some sort of not Aryan pride, but like this because I'm German, but like that. Those were my people. My people didn't believe in Christianity originally. I'm a Catholic, but that was something that the Romans put on us.
them.
And so all of a sudden that's why and then I started going, that's so interesting. Wonder what my original gods were. So I look up, I'm listening to him talk about it, and he says Thor was the god of war.
Sure.
It was the god. It was an angry god. It deals with the way that the German people were.
They were all pagan before all of it, and that's
It's
the
pagan.
traits. Yeah,
So and then I start going, Rogan's always tweeting praise Odin. That's my god.
that's your god.
And I was like, shut up. That was my people's original god was Odin. And I was like, that's so fucking fascinating that the world comes so full circle that I have a friend who constantly types praise Odin, and it turns
Right.
out that's my original god.
Really praise him.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna start being a pagan, because of that. But I was like, that's so fucking fascinating.
What I always think is interesting is how things trickle down.
Hold on. By the
yeah.
way, before you say that, and then I Googled my religion, and the first thing that showed up was a swastika. Keep going.
The swastika when it was the Hindu symbol of peace.
It was the
Or
swastika,
when it was a
but
swastika,
it's swastika, but
swastika.
it looks like. Do you remember? You're not going to remember this. Do you remember when you'd get a single on a record player?
No.
So the singles were like
Born
smaller
in
records.
1983. No. Sorry, Bert. I want to share in this with you.
The singles were smaller records, but they had a bigger hole, and you had to get an adapter to put in the thing.
Okay.
And that's what the swastika looked like. It was a circular swastika.
I have to see it.
And they were like, and I was like,
But it used to be. Everybody knows what a swastika used to
Yeah.
be. But I always think it's interesting when you take like something that happened in history and how it trickles down and how it has manifested itself into modern society. For example, like Monday and Tuesday were pagan words. Like Tuit was like a pagan god, and so was Monday. But then you have June and July for Julius Caesar. Like those were added on by the Romans. And then the months of the year are all like it's all our history. Everything that we use as like our clock for life is a combination of Christianity and paganism. And there's so much pagan stuff in our everyday lives.
Yeah.
And we don't even realize it.
that's fascinating.
August, Augustus Caesar.
Really?
Yeah. June, July. I'm trying to think of the other ones. There's like they're all And these are examples of little things where we've taken what works for us or kept certain things, even with the rejection of paganism. They've kept all these things because it's just interesting what makes it and what doesn't.
It's fucking fascinating. I think someone's ready to go for a plane.
She's ready to go.
Yeah. George, come on in. Are we ready? Yeah. Okay. All right. Do you want to say anything, Georgia? Do you have anything to promote? Nailed it.
Nailed
Okay.
it.
That's our inside joke. Is if I call up, is she, and it's me, she'll go, nailed it, before I do. She's been doing it, by the way, way before I ever heard anyone say nailed it. She's been doing it.
She made it up.
She was the first person.
That's funny. I like your little outfit. It's cute.
Hair's in braids. Is mom's hair still curly? My wife had her hair in braids because everyone had lice.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, not our kids, but our friends' kids all had lice, and my wife had to help take them out.
Oh, God.
So you go to this place and they comb through your hair for $25.
Lice fairies. It's on like 3rd.
Is that what?
They have one. Or hair fairies. I've seen it. I've passed it.
Did you go?
Hair wizard. My mistake.
Yeah. And so they went to hair wizards and everyone got their hair braided. Get the hair braided. No, George. Okay. All right. That's the end of that. George almost just French kissed Blanche. All right. What do you want to? Anything? Your special.
Specials War Paint. It's coming out. Excused. You have to go to excusetv.com to find the local listing because it's in your city. I can't tell you what time. So it's everywhere.
That is, by the way, from the first time that we said we're going to wrap it up, I think we did like another 40 minutes.
There's just so much. It was such a rich...
We got to do another one. This was
so
awesome,
fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And I would like to say, I would like to feel that I was at the very beginning of your career because
you were.
You did do a guest set at the Dallas Improv. Do you remember that?
On your weekend,
dad,
you let me do that.
Yeah, and you were like, I think you were still young. And
thank you.
I want to say Ernst. I want to say Brett maybe texted me.
Probably.
He was like,
yeah. That's how I
funny.
met you.
Yeah.
Was through him.
And I met your dad, and I think I've seen your dad since.
Probably.
So.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
It's full circle.
Oh,
all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
This episode was brought to you by The Machine.